Alright guys, welcome back. We are playing Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 3, Tatarigoroshi. Thank God for cloud saves, let me just say that. Had this whole... You didn't see the community post, had this whole issue with my PC, but you know what, we're good. We're recording yet again, so... Thank God I didn't lose anything. Thank God I hadn't already recorded this and lost it. I literally don't know what I would have done. I would have, like, sucked if I had lost a recording of this, so... But we're fine. We're good. We are good. We read the tips, right? Yeah, it was the trap course intermediate. Of course. Alright, I don't know. I am very curious where this story is going, right? Again, it's so focused on Satoshi. I'm curious, like, what are the angles on which we could take this, right? Keiichi feels like some form of responsibility to act like Satoshi, right? And that's interesting because that feels like it kind of relates to, like, Onikashi when he was kind of acting out the way Satoshi acted before he disappeared, right? So again, it's kind of like we're furthering this connection between Keiichi and Satoshi, which is interesting. I guess I just don't know how everything's gonna go wrong, you know? I assume, yet again, it's, you know, we're safe until with Tanagashi, I hope, right? But I don't know. I'm gonna feel bad. That's for sure. Because I don't know, this chapter's just been so nice so far, you know?
Oh, そうなんだ。ケイちゃんの親、帰ってきたんだね。
Sadly.
栄養剤臭がプンプンして目は充血してて
Came back as quick as possible.
どうも丸二晩徹夜で相当の修羅場だったらしい
Oh, man. There we go.
大人は大変だ
ケイチ君のお父さんって、画家さんだったかな。
It's a pretty cool job, I
画家
guess.
さんも大変なんだね。そういえばそうでしたわね。一度どんな絵を描くか拝見したいものですわ。
I know. Keiichi and Onikashi was saying like he barely knows anything about his dad's job, so that's kind of sad. An artist, huh? I've seen a number of watercolor and acrylic paintings on display, but he had to have been doing some other job too. Just what did Dad do exactly? He didn't let anyone into his workshop after all. I wanted to sneak a peek one day.
結局家を開けたのは二晩。
Well, kinda.
短い攻略期間だったね。で、ケイちゃんは異中のキャラを攻略できたのかな？
Maybe, kinda.
容姿の
Sure.
不在はギャルゲー主人公の基本だしね。
好感度をいっぱい稼いでちゃんとフラグが立ちましたですよ。
I have no idea what any of you are talking about.
じゃあこれでケイチ君ももう自炊しなくても良くなっちゃったんだね。
Sadly.
ゆうべは何を作ったのかな
Like, these meetups with Satoko can't just end. Like, he gotta start going to their house or something. In the end, I didn't make a single thing
ゆう
myself.
べは野菜炒めを
おお、ケイちゃんも少しは料理らしいものを作れるようになったじゃない。
ふーん、野菜炒めを作ったんだね。美味しくできたかな
It was fantastic.
レナさん、暑苦しいですわよ。
Really?
なんで私にベタベタくっつきますの？美味しいご飯に仲良くお皿を洗いっこなのです。いいの。暑苦しいと言ってますのよ。
何の話？
And Mion's the only one out of the loop. She just has no idea. Mion, utterly confused, asked me for clarification, but I just barely, albeit transparently, averted my eyes.
そうそう。みんなさ、今日の午後に予定はあるかい？
Yeah, we gotta do a game. Come on.
ないよね。あるわけないよね。
Today was Saturday, the beautiful day on which we're liberated from the confines of school in the afternoon. Actually, the school in Yamizawa had slightly different Saturdays than those in the city. There were a lot of students here who brought a bento, ate it at lunch, and then went to play in the school or around the schoolyard. You could say that the entire school turned into a children's playground. That sounds awesome, honestly. There were mountains behind the school, and if you went down that way, you'd find mountain streams. You could avoid the strong sunlight and make conversation in the classroom if you wanted to. You could also play hide and seek in the construction pipes. That's dangerous. Of course, you were free to go home as well. There were some kids who went home and helped water the fields or tended to stores. If Mion was bringing up the afternoon like this, then it must have been for some crazy big club event. However, sadly, I had something I needed to do before taking part in whatever it was. You do?
お仕事ですか？
Really?
ついてないのです。
Are you
何
sure?
の仕事でございましょうね。お父さんの画家の仕事のお手伝いとか。
I can't imagine Keiichi having a job. I don't know about that.
お父さんの絵のモデルになるとか？
That would
モ
be
デル？
awful. Don't say
な
that.
ど？
Okay, Rena, come on. I looked into Rena's eyes and saw myself completely naked in a questionable pose with a single rose in my mouth. Thank you. Thank you.
それだけは100万積まれても絶対にない。
To get rid of Rena's delusions, I grabbed her head and swung it from side to side.
とまあ愉快な妄想は置いといてだ。
Mm-hmm.
とにかく俺にはちょっとお昼に仕事がある。それが終わってからの合流でいいなら OK だ
What
ぞ。
do you have to do? We don't know, do we? Did I forget? I don't think so.
お昼に仕事？おお、そりゃなんだかかっこよさげじゃない。なになに？ひょっとして各界の VIP との
Yeah,
会
yeah,
食？
that's it. That must be
ビ
it.
ジネスランチとか？
実に悲しいことだが正解だ。
Really? Really? Okay, she's right. Okay, sure, if you say so. Everyone shouts wildly, surprised. Yeah? Gonna go hang out with the VIP experts? I'm sure. Where are we going? Home. It was true. Today I'd be on the job with my family. For my dad's job, he was having about 10 people from the publishing agency over for a house party. Oh, literally, they're actually right. Okay. He called people from work for a party the day after having stayed up 2 nights in a row. I'm amazed at their vitality. Adults have it pretty rough. Of course, it would be incredibly uncomfortable for me. It would be really tiring to have to force myself to smile at some old dudes I didn't know. But they were my dad's important business connections, so offending them would be bad. Well, with all that said, it was going to get very uncomfortable for me today, starting at lunch. Oh god. Are you sure? I guess. Would I call Keiichi intelligent? I mean, like, maybe, sometimes? I don't know. He's got some problems, that's for sure.
ケイイチ、こちらは出版社の本田さんだ。そして
Honda.
こちらは印刷会社の井上さん。
I see.
ご挨拶しなさい。
どうもこんにちは。息子の圭一です。父がいつもお世話になっております。
ケイイチ君もお父さんのように絵は描かれるのですか？
What's he gonna say?
ケイイチ君の絵もぜひ拝見したいな。
I hope just no. My dad had such a brazen occupation, that of an artist. Although, I don't really know what kinds of things he creates. I don't really care, and I don't want to see anyway. Dad's so tight-fisted about it, so he doesn't show them to me very often anyway. I'm not a kid anymore, so I wouldn't care at all if there were pictures of naked ladies or anything. I don't know, they might be with the way we're talking about it at this point.
ケイイチ君もお父さんに指示してしっかり勉強すれば、きっとお父さんのような素晴らしい
True, I don't
作
know.
家になれますからね。
Sounds fun, honestly. I don't know, being an artist? I think that's like a very fulfilling career, probably, right?
あの
Depends on if you have someone telling you what to draw or not, I guess.
親父ってそんなにすごい画家なんですか？
You might suppose. Come on, what are you doing? I readied myself and whispered my question. It might have seemed odd for his son to be asking this, but when I did, he gave me this really strange grin and tightly clamped down onto my shoulders.
ええ、それはもう
Okay.
本当に素
What
晴
are
ら
we
しい
getting
作家
into
さん
here?
なんですよ。
What are we doing?
そうですか。それは良かったです。
購入制限はないし、ファンサービスはするし、ファンレターには必ずお返事をくれるし、
Yeah.
世間のニーズもちゃんと汲み取っていて研究熱心。
What are we talking about
靴
exactly?
下は脱がしたら絶対に NG。
Huh?
それはメガネや制服だって
Okay.
同じなんですよ。
What are we talking about?
そこを前原先生はよく理解している。イベントは参加ごとに必ず壁で大行列だし。
Yeah.
すみません。絵ってのは壁に飾るものじゃないんですか？
そんなことはない。
Oh god.
これは誰もが島中から始めるんです。
What?
そして島角。大通りの島角と階段を登
Huh?
って、
Okay. What are we talking about?
そして至る頂点が壁なんです。
Sure.
あなたも
Everyone starts in the islands, and then does he mean like, in In like an art gallery, I guess he means? Okay, sure. I don't know. This is some... I don't know.
先生と合体で出展できるような大作家になってくださいね。応援していますよ。
It's fine to have a lot of passion for the things you like, but I didn't get it. But it seemed that the world of art ran pretty deep. It was probably a much deeper world than I could have imagined. I decided to leave it at that. Then, I realized my mom was calling me from the other side of the room.
ケイチ、電話よ。お友達から。
Ooh. Every time the phone, like... The phone has to be the thing I'm scared of most now in these games, in this story. It just... Whenever the phone rings, it's just horrifying. Maybe I could get out of this uncomfortable business party by using a friend's phone call as an excuse. I scampered over to the front door and snatched up the receiver my mom had left there.
もしもし
It's gonna be Shion.
俺
Never mind.
もしもし俺
Hello, me.
なんて挨拶はございませんですわよ、ケイチさん。もう少し言葉遣いをお勉強なさいませ。
I was of the opinion that the person speaking to me had a far stranger way of talking.
なんだサトコじゃねえか。お前が俺のところに電話してくるなんて珍しいな。
のんきなことを言ってる場合ではありませんのよ。
It's not. Come
そ
on.
れよりもケイチさん、あなたいつになったらこっちに来れますの？
Oh, is there a big club event
悪
happening?
いこっちもなんだか長引いちゃってさ。なかなか解放してもらえないんだよ。俺も早く部活に加わりたいんだけどさ。
Mm-hmm. Trying to get out of the punishment
違い
game,
ま
huh?
すですわよ、ケイチさん。今日は部活ではありませんわ。
What happened?
実践ですのよ。
Oh no, a real battle. Satoko's voice was different from normal. I could feel the urgency in it drifting through the phone.
実践
Oh god.
なんだか
Oh
俺らの
no,
話じゃ
a
ない
real
な
battle.
どういう状況なんだ
詳しくは会ってからの説明にいたしますわ。とにかく絶対的な危機なんですの。
Are you sure? I
こ
don't
の
know.
ままでは負けてしまうでございますわ。
What on earth was going on? Could it have been a fight? I didn't know who they were, but laying a hand on someone from Inamizawa was an absolutely terrible
お
idea.
わかったすぐに火星に行くぜ場所はどこだ
沖宮小学校のグラウンドですわ。
What? How do you get there?
駅まで来れば看板があるからわかりますですわよ。
Okay, sure, I guess. You went to the Okanomiya Elementary School campus and now you're having a real battle. Okay, sure. The school campus. The situation could have a lot of people involved. Could it have turned into an all-out brawl? Who is the enemy here, anyway? Oh, I'm on
わ
fire.
かったすぐ行く
Real
もしも
excited.
持って行った方がいいか
Yeah, bring the bat.
金属バットでも持って行くか
Oh god. Oh no. Don't say that.
それは心強い
Oh
ですよ。
god. Stop,
お
no.
待ち申し上げておりますですわ。
The call cut off abruptly. I needed to hurry. You don't have a bat, though.
ケイチ、
You have to go grab the one from school.
探したんだぞ。
Like, not again. Don't grab a bat again, please.
こちらの出口さんがな、ぜひ次のコピー紙で。
Oh no. Dojinshi.
そんな
Oh
ことよ
god.
りバットないかな金属バット
I mean, that just means, like, self-published, right? So it doesn't mean... But, still.
なければ長物なら何でもいいや
長ければ何でもいい。
We're gonna golf club.
父さんのゴルフクラブが物置にあるぞ。
Sure. It didn't have the same kind of impact, but a golf club was a splendid weapon too. It was lighter than a baseball bat, and maybe easier for me to
サンキュ
use.
ーそれ借りるよ俺ちょっと友達のところに行かなきゃならない用事ができちゃったんだ
Keiichi doesn't realize he has a whole lot of proficiency with a baseball bat. He hasn't, that hasn't hasn't come up yet, I guess.
ケ
Some
イチ、
natural, he's a natural at it.
待ちなさい。
Alright, off we go. We escaped. I grabbed a golf club, jumped on my bike, and headed straight for town. Wait for me, Satoko. I'll be right there. Just hold out until then. I didn't actually know where Okanomiya Elementary was exactly, but Satoko's phone call seemed to demand urgency, so I rushed out without asking her how to get there. But if I went to the station, there would be signs. At least, I feel like that's what she said. Then I heard the jingling of a bicycle bell from behind me. What's up,
こん
Rika?
にちはなのですよ。
おうリカちゃんか
He really rushed over
ケ
here.
イチ、早かったです。いっぱいいっぱい急いだですね。
Literally. Damn. This isn't the time to be out of breath. I need to hurry.
すまん沖宮小学校ってのはどこだ
ご案内しますです。
Sounds
つい
good.
てくるですよ。
Let's go. We gotta hurry. Rika-chan rode off on her bike. I followed her.
急にサトコに呼び出されたんだが一体どういうことになってるんだ
A battle.
はじめはこちらが優勢だったのです。
Mm-hmm.
ところが
Like, what is it gonna be? It's gonna be something really stupid, obviously. Literally, what could it be? Like, they're playing some kind of game with random elementary schoolers, and they're losing? Like, I don't know. A helper? What cowards, calling for reinforcements the minute they realize they'd lose. Oh god. Gulp. Sounds like they were pretty strong.
詳しい話は後だ。時間がないんだろ。急いでくれ。
With Rika-chan leading the way, we headed straight for the elementary school grounds. I asked Rika-chan something during that time. It seemed that all the club members besides me were part of this fight. Damn, so what Mion was trying to tell everyone was that this would happen? If I had known that, I would have just ditched my family job. But it was too late for regrets. According to Rika-chan, we had a one-sided advantage at the start, but our angry foes had brought in a powerful ally. The club members put up a resistance and went against them one by one, but apparently they couldn't stand up to them.
部活メンバー総掛かりで勝てない？
Impossible. Unthinkable.
そりゃどんな化け物なんだ。
Bakemono.
すごいのです。敵は正統派なのですよ。
Mm-hmm. Orthodox. So they weren't using thuggish brawling tactics, but had actually studied karate or something. Is that what she meant? I guess. Okonomiya Elementary came into view. I could hear many voices raising hell over there. Oh god. Drop my pen.
Satoko! 今行くからな。俺がまとめてぶっ潰してやるぜ。
What's it gonna be? There were a lot of bicycles left out in front of the school. I left mine there next to them in the same way. I could tell there were a lot of people flooding the campus. Were the two armies in the midst of a huge, no-holds-barred brawl? I took my golf club in hand. Whoosh, I swung it. I felt the sensation of it sticking firmly to my palm. Like, what does he think? He's gonna go beat people up with a golf club? That's what he thinks is gonna happen right now. Great. The feedback wasn't bad. I'm gonna go all out with this thing. I dashed at a breakneck speed to the school gate, swinging it around. Is this what is this? Some kind of like sports field, right? He's so cool. Rika-chan applauded me, though a little dryly, lauding my valiance. The manly Keiichi put it behind him and headed for the place where he may die. For the battle!
仕方ないだろ。俺も最初はバットの方がいいと思ったんだが、うちでバットなくってさ。素手よりははるかにマシだと思って。せめてゴルフクラブを持ってきたんだ。
偉いのですよ。ケイイチをなでなでしてあげますです。
Oh no, not a pat on the
ゴ
head.
ルフクラブで大暴れが楽しみなのですよ。
Despite the emergency situation, Rika-chan reached up and stroked me on the head.
おい、ふざけてる場合かよ。え？
Crack. Just then, an extremely loud metallic sound rang out, and I heard many people cheering.
レフト！あー、抜けた！
Are we just playing baseball? Yeah, we're just playing baseball. We're just playing baseball. Okay, alright. I guess Keiichi can actually join the baseball team this time. The center fielder caught the ball, and after a brief pause, sent it flying to third base. If he had pitched it wildly, it might get there. He gave up on second and threw it to third with time to spare. The instructions from the bench, they were solid. Damn, Keiichi knows a lot about baseball, huh? Wait, what? Okay, that's great. Is that the real? That can't be the real translation of that joke. There has to be, like, come on, loafing around is only okay when you do it at the bread shop. There obviously that has to be like localized. I really want to know what she actually said there. Who the hell are you? What? Okay, what's up, Erie? How's it going, man? Who the hell are you? Erie. Nice to meet ya, I guess. Haven't we heard that name before? Haven't we heard that name before? Did we? I don't see it written down anywhere, but I swear to God we've heard that name before. I swear we have.
相手はあの強豪校のエース、左腕の亀田くんですよ。
Didn't Mion say this? Didn't Mion say this when Keiichi was talking about playing baseball in Orikashi? Didn't she say that they have this really good player, Kameda-kun? Or maybe that was someone else. I don't remember. But if so, that's very funny.
甲子園クラスの投手を打ち崩せるなんて、一体どんな助っ人なんです？
Also, you're like an adult. What are you doing here?
大丈夫です。ケイチ君ならきっと逆転させてくれますよ。本当に頼もしい人なんです。
Murmur. What? He's the pinch hitter we brought in to take out left arm Kameda with his bullet fastball? The one who had one no-hit, no-run game after another during the regional qualifiers. The undefeated demon pitcher of Ushima. The super high school level pitcher that had already been marked by professional scouts. He's going to win against him? I'm sure he will.
あんなヘナチョコピッチャーなんかケイチさんには目じゃないですのよ。楽勝でバックスクリーンを起こしてくださいますか？
I guess we'll see. Murmur. There was a slugger like that in this prefecture? I had no idea. He must have gone under the radar. Hey, that scout stood up. Hey, take a picture. His full name is Keiichi Maibara. Look him up at the database and send his history to our office. Has Keiichi ever played baseball before? God, he's gonna humiliate himself. A whole lot of sports journalists, led by Satoko, gripped their cameras tightly and searched for the rumored Keiichi Maibara. As for me, I was so dazed at what was happening that I was frozen in place with my golf club up in the air.
ケイチさん、こっちですわよ。
He runs away. The camera people stared at me through their viewfinders, and just like I had, they turned to stone. In the hands of their gallant pinch hitter Keiichi Maibara was a golf club. Nobody could seem to understand why I was holding something like this. And at this point, neither did I. A cold, greasy sweat dripped from me. The first one to break the inordinately awkward silence was Rena. ケイチ君。Oh God.
おう。
一つ聞いてよろしいですの？
Go ahead. Please don't. Psychic waves of my entreaty flowed out of my face along with my sweat. It somehow seemed to reach the two of them. The deathly quiet reporters all parted, as Moses once parted the sea. But Moses probably didn't go through the parted seas this quietly.
野球の試合なら初めからそう言え。
You should have known. Come on. No, you said we're having a big battle. No. Okay. He said that he was gonna bring a baseball bat to beat everybody up. You just said that'd be awesome. Like, come on. You said it was a battle. You said it was a battle. You're really trying, Rena. That's... Thank you. Rena smiled bitterly and covered for me with all her might. Please believe her, everyone. I'm begging you. Ruka-chan started petting my head, a broad grin on her face all the while. I pushed her hand away, grabbed her from behind by her suspenders, and picked her up like a kitten. Thank you. That was a good one. Oh, you know, no reason to tell you. Thank you. Ruka-chan's smile was like the sun, so incredibly innocent. Oh, she's glowing. When I saw Ruka-chan's radiant smile, I couldn't help but feel like I could forgive anything she did. However, if Ruka-chan thought it, I actually would. She had another thing coming. Oh God. Oh no. You can take her home. Ruka-chan still plucked up in my hand. I offered her to Rena. That's right. The kittenified Rika-chan sent Rena's voltage into overcharge. Oh no, oh god, you're throwing her to the sharks. It's over. It's all over. Hop, spinny spinny. Rena stuck out her tongue like a chameleon and preyed upon Rika-chan while spinning her around. Uh-huh. Just break out of kitten mode and escape, come on. Runa held her tight as a vice and began to get her fill of rubbing her cheek into Rika-chan's. Their cheeks rubbed together tightly. Rika-chan's face. It looked like it was being crushed by Rena's. Satoko needs to be punished as well, like I don't know. She's also at fault.
俺も最近ようやくリカちゃんがただ可愛いだけじゃないと悟ったぞ。
Perfect. Finally. Thank you. For the moment, I just gave her a 3-minute timeout.
ところでサトコ。緊急の呼び出しってのは野球
Yeah,
ってこと
like,
なのか？
what is this all about?
そうですわ。ご家族でホームパーティーだったんですって。悪いことをしましたわね。でもこういう時は家族よりも仲間の危機の方が最優先に決まっていますのよ。
Interesting line from Satoko, right? Prioritizing friends over family. When she's lost so much of her family. Her entire family, really, you know? I don't know. I felt like that's what I was supposed to be saying, not you. Well, it was just a business party for my dad, I guess. I honestly felt glad to be called out
それ
here.
でその危機的状況というのはどんな具合なんだ？
We're losing.
6対7。
Uh-oh.
ってことは負けてるのが
It's
あ
not
っち
that
のチー
bad.
ムってことか。9回の裏で2アウト？
I don't know what that means. I don't know anything about baseball.
なんだこの試合もうほとんど終わりかけてるじゃないかよ。
圭一さんがもっと早く来れば
He
もう
did
少
his
し
best.
余裕がありましたのよ。
He tried.
ここまで引き伸ばすのにどれだけ苦労したとお思いですの？
And you're really putting a lot of faith into Keiichi. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, right? Like with their new whole relationship they got going on here.
分かったよ悪かったよ。
She wants to believe in him.
俺の仕事はなんだ？ピンチヒッターでもやるのか？ならば任せろ。こう見えても俺引っ越す前は結構
Oh, okay.
センターに通
Sure.
ったんだぞ。
I guess he is a baseballer, huh?
親父が憂さ晴らしに行くときよく付き合わされてさ。ミートバッティングだったらそこそこの自信が。
Broom. A tremendous sound rang out, the likes of which I'd never heard before. That's the sound of him pitching. Oh god. The catcher's mitt trembled, sending up a light cloud of dust, telling me the tremendous sound had come from the ball.
ちょっと待ておい。今の凄まじい剛
Oh
速球は
god.
一体何だ？
驚いた？
There's Mion, finally.
あれ本物の甲子園ピッチャーなんだよ。
I don't know what that means. I'm gonna look that up. Koshien level pitcher. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Couldn't tell you. Something about, I don't know, there's a Koshien tournament? I don't know. It means something, I guess. No idea. Who knows? It means something.
スポーツ新聞でも有名な高校野球のエース。左腕の亀田君って知
No.
らない？
悪いけど知らん。で、ミオン、お前、なんだよその格好は。
What do you mean? Mion showed up, and to my surprise, she was wrapped up in bandages. What, she tried pitching? Just what on earth happened?
途中から来た圭一君には最初から説明がいるよね。
Sure.
お、なんだ？リカちゃんはもういいのか？
可愛いのいっぱい楽しんだよ。ほよほよでやわやわでふにふに。
You're gonna get her going again. Be careful.
ほっぺだけでご飯3杯はいける。
What does that mean?
みー、もうお嫁に行けないのです。
Oh no. Oh god. I wonder how Rika-chan's cheeks taste if you could eat them 3 times a day. Yeah. Thank you. It almost flipped my own delusional switch, but I put a stop to it using logic. I was an adult. No, you aren't.
じゃあ説明を頼む。何をどう間違えたらこんな草野球対決に甲子園ピッチャーのリリーフが登場するんだ。
Literally. Everyone exchanged glances. Then, Runa spoke for all of them.
うん、最初はね、普通の野球対決だったの。
ひなみざわファイターズと沖宮タイタンズはささやかながらも因縁の対決
Hinamizawa
で
Fighters and the Okinomiya Titans,
今回
huh?
もささやかに大盛り上がりしてたわけ。
まあ平たく言えば学校対決ですよね。ひなみざわと沖宮の学校の因縁試合なんですの。因縁って言ってもまあ和気あいあいとしたものなんだけどね。
で、それになんでうちの部活メンバーが参加してるんだ。ユニフォームを着てるやつもいれば私服のやつもいるしそもそも俺たちって野球部ってわけじゃないだろ。
True. But Hinamizawa sticks together, come on.
つまり、割といい加減なの。
今日たまたまチームに欠員が出たって
And you guys just replaced
そ
them?
れじゃあせっかくだからって言って急遽私たちが乱入することになったってわけよ。
I see. If there weren't enough members, anyone could come to the rescue, whether a boy or girl, and no matter what grade they were in. That jumbled together feeling was the hallmark of our
リ
school.
カちゃんに聞いた話だと最初のうちは押しまくってたらしいじゃないか。
2位はすごいバッターなのですよ。
I see.
右へ左へホームランなのです。
Okay. Mion proudly stuck out her chest. Doing so seemed to hurt her somehow, and she groaned pathetically.
ええ、ミオンさんが登場するたびに走者一掃の
She hit a home run every time. Man.
サトコと違ってちゃんとバットにボールが当たるのです。
Rika, come on.
いいか。
まあなんとなく話は分かった。あの甲子園ピッチャーが登場するまでは楽勝ムードだったというわけだ。
そういうこと。序盤は完全にうちのチームの流れでね。点にはならないまでもガンガン出塁して攻めまくってたんだけどね。
たまたまね、今日の試合にあの亀田くんが見物に来てた
So
の。
he joined in. You guys opened the floodgates, like them joining, even though they were part of the team, like opened the door for him to also join. Apparently, Kameda attends a fairly well-known school in our prefecture that frequently sent people to Koshien. And this man, known as the ace of their baseball team, Kameda, seemed to be quite skilled. Now that I thought about it, it was certainly strange to see cameramen with journalist armbands here to watch a casual baseball game out the sticks like this. I forgot about that. I forgot there's a bunch of journalists here.
亀田は小さい頃、沖宮タイタンズにいたこ
So
と
he
が
didn't
あ
want
る
them
の
to
だそうです。
lose. I see.
話は見えてきたでしょ。昔のチームが劣勢になって、つまりそれで飛び入りでリリーフ登板することになって。
And he's just been beating up all these little kids.
もう
Good.
バッタバッタよ。出塁は愚か、ファールも打てないありさまなわけ。
でも甲子園ピッチャーの乱入なんて草野球の試合でずるいですわよ。
Oh, the boys wearing the Hinamizawa Fighters uniform were hanging their heads in disappointment. I don't know, this definitely means something, you know what I mean? Like, it's obviously this is all related to baseball, which has been directly linked to the weird shit with the purse, in quotes, right? I don't know. I guess there's like several just like vague things you can take from it that you can kind of vaguely apply to other parts of the story, but I guess it's hard to say what exactly I would say I think it means, you know? I knew almost all of their faces. Isn't everyone here a classmate? Oh, I see. We're the only school in Hinamizawa after all.
富田君に岡村君じゃないか。君たちも野球チームだったのか。
Oh no. Oh god. Oh god. No. His uniform was brand new, and not very dirty, fresh off the presses. I could see handmade banners with their names written on them in the grandstands. I see. Their families came to root for them in their debut game today.
岡村のバットは今日のためにお父さん
Oh
にプレ
god.
ゼントしてくれ
Oh
た
god.
そうなのですよ。
Oh no. The brand new bat sparkled. With that kind of present, a man just has to perform well.
いっぱい今日のために素振りとかしてきましたのよ。富田さんなんかやりすぎて手の皮がむけちゃってほら気の毒に。
His torn hand looked like it hurt, but from that injury, you could sense his backbone. I get it, guys. You wanted to make your big moment a good one. Vroom. The savior of the Okinomiya Titans. We could hear the sound of this Kameda-kun's tremendous fastball practice. This was no joke. He was definitely on a level far above high school kids, but at his level, he clearly shouldn't have been interrupting a grass lot game, grudge match though it may have been. He should have understood how much better he was, too.
あいつ、こいつら相手にも本気で投げやがったのか。
うん。レナはこんなの大人げないと思う。
Rena's eyes grew harsh. It took a lot to get Rena mad. As for Tomoto-kun and Okamura-kun, they were sniffing, fighting back tears. We heard another tremendous noise from the pit. I turned around, and this left-arm Kamada-kun guy was looking at us and grinning boldly. What about that Eerie guy? Can you tell me who this Eerie guy is?
ああ、どうやら本気で行くしかないな。
でね、本気で行ってみたの。それで、みーちゃんが大事なことして。
Mion, embarrassed, scratched her head, then a moment later doubled over in pain.
自爆って、一体何をどう自爆したら
He took a direct hit.
ができるんだ?
She went flying.
説明するととてつもなく長いですわね。
Really?
一つ言えるのは、ここまでして戦果なしということくらいですわね。
Okay, I guess.
ここまで体を張ったのに。
Okay, sure.
点も入れられないなんて。
せっかくの秘策も台無しで、かわいそうなのです。
I hope you can understand what I mean, that this is all some kind of analogy for, like, something in the story. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, them fighting against insurmountable odds, them feeling like they were doing good, and then, like, an outsider comes along and makes it much more difficult. I don't know, there's so much stuff you could take from it, and it means something, right? There's a reason why the author put this baseball game in the story, you know? Oh god, I don't know, I just can't decide what I could possibly think it means, right? I couldn't even imagine what sort of secret plan it was, but it must have been crazy enough to get her that badly hurt.
でもまあ、失敗したおかげで、まだ野球でいられるんだろ。
ちょっとみーちゃんのこの手は野球らしくなかった。
What did she do? She went to go fight him?
こうなっては仕方ないでございましょう。ここは正々堂々野球らしく決着をつけるしかないということですわ。
Alright.
そうそう、野球らしく蹴りをつけないとね。
I think normal people would have given up and gone for a frontal attack. But as a member of our club, I wasn't about to accept that so easily.
野球らしくってのが引っかかるぞ。野球らしく見えれば手段は問わない。
私たちの部の信条だし。
Absolutely.
そういうことですわね。手段を選ばないことこそ我が部の美徳でございましたよ。
Rena and Satoko laughed to each other delightfully. It wasn't really a virtue we could brag about, but the best thing about our club was that we never rolled over and gave up.
でも、カメラがずらーりといるから、なかなかズルはできないのです。
We hard to cheat. Rika-chan spread her arms wide, indicating the array of reporters in the bleachers. She was right. With all those cameramen watching us through the cameras with giant telephoto lenses, foul play would be fairly tough. Surely Satoko can set a trap. Like, come on.
それがネックだったんだよ。
Maybe she already has one set. Like, come
これだけ
on.
の囚人監視があると、なかなか大胆な手が取れないし。いてててててて。
みーちゃんの手は決しておしとやかだとは思わなかったけどな。
Satoko and Rika-chan both nodded behind Rena.
じゃあここで本題に戻るぞ。今我がチームは1点差で負けてるんだよな。
しかももう9回の裏でアウトも2個取られちゃってるの。
You don't know what that means.
おじさんの作戦がうまくいってれば、今頃は満塁のはずなんだけどな。
What was your plan? To go fist fight him?
失敗した作戦を嘆いても始まりませんですのよ。へこたれず次の手を打ってこそ我が部でございましたよ。
Satoko said eagerly, trying to chew up the downcast Mion, whose secret plan had failed. It may have failed, but Satoko seemed to have another.
サトコがなかなか威勢がいいじゃないか。ってことは何か奥の手があるってことか？
Maybe.
ケイチ君、この子を誰だと思ってるの？
She's the trapper.
サトコちゃんだよ。北条サトコちゃん。
That was right. We called her Trap Master Satoko, didn't we? Exactly. She would ensnare her opponents at the perfect moment, the very end. Everyone in our club knew that we could never, ever let our guards down against Satoko.
私が仕込んだとはいえ、末恐ろしく成長してくれたもんだよ。僅差を制することに関しては、私でも舌を巻く時があるね。
ちなみに、次の打者が2位で、その次の打者がサトコなのです。
Overcoming slim margins is interesting. We were losing by 1 point, so if we could get the next runner on a base, then the runner after that could hit a big one and end the match. And that final batter was Satoko? Oh god. It's fine, she put a bomb in the bat or something. It's gonna explode, and it's gonna blow the ball to, I don't know, the atmosphere.
勝てそうな気がしてきたでしょ？
どういう仕掛けか想像もつかんが、絶対何かの罠だと断言できる。俺が敵のピッチャーなら絶対に敬遠だ。
There is no way Satoko is going to hit a home run, even in my dreams. But if she's going to stand in the batter's box normally, without any kind of plan, I can't think of anything else she could do.
そのサトコが俺を呼び出した。なるほど。読めてきたぜ。
Do you? It meant that I was a necessary piece of Satoko's trap. Sure.
ワクワクするね。サトコちゃんどんなことをするのかな。
Let's see.
僕もサトコのさよならホームランが楽しみなのです。
You know, this has really been, it's like, this is also like a Rika chapter, it feels like. We've had like so much focus on Satoko and on Rika, you know? Which like makes sense, they're kind of like a, you know, they're a two-man cell, I guess, right?
そのためには、ケイちゃんの働きが欠かせない。わかるね。これが逆転の最後のチャンス。
Sure, I'm ready.
絶対に失敗できない。
Go start playing golf to distract them, Keiichi.
わかってるぜ、そんなこと。見てろ。俺とサトコででっかい大逆転を拝ませてやるぜ。
ではケイチさん、これから手順を説明しますわ。
I'm ready. We aren't gonna hear them, are we? We aren't gonna hear them. We're just gonna see the plan, you know, work out. Satoko and I huddled up in a hidden place and held a briefing that anyone watching could tell was suspicious.
前原さんと北条は何を話してるんだろう。
Nothing important.
委員長みたいにとんでもない奥の手で自爆
What did she do? Our teammates, Tamatsu-kun and Okamura-kun, seemed very nervous. Rena gave them a wide smile, trying to dispel their anxiety.
大丈夫だよみんな。サトコちゃんとケイチくんならきっとやり遂げてくれるから。
でも龍宮さん、相手は甲子園級のピッチャーなんですよ。
Yeah, but we're the club. He's up against the club. What's he gonna do?
いくら北条が得意の罠にはめようとしても。
They're underestimating
まあ
her.
みんな
A fatal
頑
error.
張って見てなって。面白いゲームが見られるからね。
I'm ready. Mion, who knew everything about to transpire, looked like she was having a hard time stifling the laughter bubbling up within her. She was so terrifying as an enemy, but so reliable as an ally. Mion waved her hands at the Empire.
代打が出ます。私、園崎美音に代わって前原圭一で。
Okay.
本当に彼で大丈夫なんですか？
Who is Eerie? Who are you? The umpire turned an uneasy gaze on the pinch hitter who had jumped in with a golf club. Oh, is Eerie the umpire? Okay, I guess.
ケイチくんは甘く見ない方がいいですよ。
The members of our club were the only ones grinning with wholehearted confidence. Alright. I guess. Let's see this plan unfold. Is Keiichi gonna use his golf club, I wonder? Satoko's plan was definitely simple, but scrupulous. It even looked like the entire situation had gone according to her calculations. The fact that we were losing by 1 point, the fact that I had come late, the fact that Satoko was the last batter. It even felt kind of like this had been set up before the game started. There had been a long timeout since I got here, and during that time, the opposing pitcher, Kamada-kun, took a bathroom break. Even that felt calculated. No, this is Satoko we're talking about, so maybe. Maybe she gave him a laxative somehow, calculated to get him to use the bathroom at this exact moment, I'm sure. And while he was a long way off, shut up in the bathroom, our plan would begin. The opposing pitcher, Kamada-kun, there he was. Did we get to see him? In front of the urinal, pleasantly taking care of business, oh god. He thought it was only natural that he would win at a grass lot game like this, and relax enough to relieve himself without a care in the world, oh no. Maybe that's how he wanted to appear. However, his relaxed state was itself our chance. Right now, You've already conceded to our club. I, too, casually walked into the bathroom. He's gonna hit him over the head with that golf club. There were 3 urinals. Kamada-kun was doing his business at the furthest one. I went to the one next to him. Normally, you would leave one urinal open. Kamada-kun seemed to notice me. I had stood right next to him after all. I don't like the sound of his voice. He recalled seeing me swing the golf club around like an idiot, and he couldn't seem to resist the urge to laugh. I, however, wasn't frustrated in the slightest. The match had already been won the moment I arrived. The game had been decided as an upset for our team. So now, all I had to do was push things along exactly as Satoko planned. I'm the one who should be laughing. What are we doing? Okay, we don't get to see.
うまくやれるかな。大丈夫でしたよ。本気の圭一さんならこんなの朝飯前ですわ。
You think? I feel like we've heard that line before. Tobita-kun and Okamura-kun, our underclassmen, asked another question with much trepidation.
本当に前原さんはあのピッチャーを攻略できるんですか？
Easily.
あんたたちケイちゃんと同じクラスで生活してて何にも感じないわけ？
God, I gotta adjust my sitting position. There we go.
彼はね、ゆくゆくはあの力で世界を制するかもしれない。
You think? Maybe, I
ケイ
guess.
ちゃんと組めば世界制覇は容易だな。
If you say so.
世界
Sekai. Our teammates exchanged glances. Did my Bara-senpai really have such incredible strength? Just what kind of strength could that be? My questions caused Kamada-kun to stare in bewilderment, and for a moment he didn't know what to say. What did you ask? I smiled thinly, looking straight ahead, and said it once more clearly. Okay. Right to the point. No threats or beating around the bush, or anything. Kamada's brain couldn't figure out the meaning of what I said, and I could tell he was clearly confused. Whoa! Kamada didn't hide his bewilderment. He didn't want to be around someone who would babble on like this for another second. Those thoughts spilled into his expression, and he quickly moved to leave the bathroom. We're getting philosophical. Priceless absolute supremacy, of course. He grinned lightly as he answered, as if to make fun of me.
スポーツマンらしい返事だ。勝利こそ絶対。何にも変えられないってわけだ。
そんなのは当たり前だろ。どんな脅しにも買収にも勝利を放棄させるような対価は存在しない。
I'm sure. I was waiting for those words. I, after spinning around 3.5 times, pointed right at Kamada-kun's face. He spun around. Okay, sure. Yeah, find the meaning in life beyond victory, of course. He was denying it, but he stopped. He stopped. He was waiting. He was waiting for me to present some attractive conditions.
君は雑誌のインタビューに好物は焼肉で嫌いなものは甘いものだと答えたらしい。
You're gonna go buy him some nice meat?
それは嘘じゃない。
Oh, okay.
何？
例えば、君が焼肉食い放題に行ったとする。君が皿に持ってくるのは一体なんだ？ロースか？
This is
カルビ
intense.
か？牛タンの山か？違うよな。君が持ってくるのは肉じゃない。食い放題のプリンやゼリーやケーキなのだ。
How scandalous.
女の子が喜びそうな綺麗で可愛らしくて愛くるしい。そんな洋菓子が大好きなんだよな。
Kamada's face turned utterly pale. Our club already knew that he ate a mountain of desserts when he went to the grilled meat buffet. How do you know that? And we were well aware of his embarrassment and his weakness for sweets despite his age. Kamada-kun couldn't possibly have known that this particular grilled meat buffet chain in Shishifone was owned by a member of the Sonozaki family. Of course, of course. I'll have to be careful when I go out to eat with my parents from now on.
違う俺が好きなのは豪快な骨付きの
違うお前が好きなのは色とりどりのクリームで優しく可愛らしく盛り付けられたデザートなのだまるでフリルやリボンで飾り付けられた無垢な汚れを知らぬ少女を連想させる
I guess we're just gonna blackmail him.
少女のような可愛いデザート
Oh, we're gonna blackmail him by threatening him with the release of the information that he likes cake.
ニキビだらけの欲望丸出しのスポーツ狩りが怪我するようにバリバリとむしゃむしゃと
Okay, alright. Thank you.
そうだお前はデザートを食べてめでているんじゃない怪我し自分し
Because he can't admit that he likes them, so he doesn't love them, of course.
お前はデザートを怪我して楽しんでいるだけなんだ
もうダメだ知られてしまった俺の密かな楽しみ
It's all over. It's all over.
知られてしまったもう生きていけない死ぬしか
Has to die. It's all over. It's done. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Kerslam. I hit him on the side of the head as hard as I could. Okay. Kamada-kun fell down like a girl. His eyes started watering and he broke down. What are we doing?
こんな変なことを考えてデザートを食べているのはきっと世界で俺だけだ。俺は爽やかなスポーツマンの声がした。
You're a pervert because you like eating dessert. Right.
そうだ。お前はスケベだ。
Thank you. This time I didn't hit him. Instead, I clapped my hands down onto his shoulders. Just think about how insane the situation is. Like, what are we doing right now? Give me the game music. Thank you.
だがそれを認めるか否かで男の器はお前は自分に素直だった。それを自慢していい。威張っていい。
Of course.
自分を誇りに思え。
Big. Instead of blaming him, I told him to have pride in himself, and Kamada-kun couldn't hide his confusion.
そうだ。そして俺はお前に感銘を受けたのだ。デザートはただ単に食後に食べる甘いもの。今までずっとそう思ってた。
Of course.
お前がそれを教えてくれたんだ。お前に出会ったおかげで俺は明日から同じデザートを一味も二味も違った味わい方ができるようになるだろう。例えばいちごのショートケーキ。
Strawberry shortcake. Gulp. Kamada-kun's... I keep saying Kamada-kun because that's what he's been calling him. Kamada's throat cried out.
いちごのショートケーキ。
Oh yeah, could go to Angel more. Come on.
どこか古風なロックメーカー華やかなりし頃の正統派のメイドを思わせる。スカートが短いこびた近代メイドじゃないぞ。正統派の清掃の本格化。
Of course.
いちごしかありません。こんなものしかご用意できませんが、どうかご賞味くださいませ。というつつましやかさがいいよな。
Thank you.
ご賞味くださいませ。燃える。
燃え。
いちごしかないからこそ。柔らかく主張したクリームのデコレーションは
I feel like Keiichi's getting more into it than Kamada is. Like, I don't know.
それを上品な貴族のご主人様のようにフォークで切るわけ。
Yeah.
いやいや、それを下烈に油汗を浮かせた悪のご主人様のようにしゃぶりつけた
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thank you, Keiichi. Thanks for your fantasies here.
いや、それよりいちごを取った後
Yeah, of course. Right? What are we doing? What are we talking about? Thank you. Like, is the plan that we're gonna sit here in the bathroom for the next hour and talk about nothing, and Kameda's gonna miss the game and they're gonna win by default? Is that what we're doing here? Like, I don't know.
帰りはエンジェルモートでショートケーキを開けるまで見つめて俺のためだけに美しく着飾った少女たちを
Perfect, thank you.
寄せ合って震える少女たちを一人ずつ
Like, what are we doing?
一つ食べるごとに
Yeah, right.
顎をこうふいと持って品定めをして
What are we doing again? What's happening right now? What are we doing? What game am I playing? Please translate girls as cake, alright? Thank you. Keiichi-kun seems to be talking about cake combination platters. Emphasis mine. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Yeah? Has there ever been a man such as this who could speak so passionately about a single piece of strawberry shortcake? No, there is not. There has never been, I say. Such passionate feelings are trying to melt away the stubbornness in Kameda's mind.
Kameda, もう一度だけ言う。俺たちを勝たせろ。
But that would.
ならもういい。お前には頼まん。
I rejected Kameda outright and turned on my heel.
もういいや。この試合は負けだ負け。もうこんな試合。そんなことより試合が終わったらエンジェルモートに行って。
Gonna go to Angel Mort?
フリルとリボンで西洋人形のように飾られた美少女たち。食い放題で行こうかな。
What was that laugh? We're gonna play the whole thing to hear that laugh again. We just gotta listen to it again though. We gotta listen to it again.
フリルとリボンで西洋人形のように飾られた美少女たち。食い放題で行こうかな。
Like, that's really good. Thank you, KG. That's really good.
今夜は豪快に徹底的に食い散らかしじゃい。
食い放題。
Thud. Despite this being the bathroom, Kameda-kun put both his hands on the floor. He's just screaming at the top of his lungs. Someone who can be true to themselves about dessert. Of course, of course. You can give up baseball and become a dessert aficionado. Of course, of course. Thank you. Like, he just breaks down sobbing on the bathroom floor. Unlucky. This seemed pretty effective. Clap. Kameda-kun was crying tears of gratitude, unable to speak. That was the moment we exchanged the most zealous handshake the world has... Wait, what was that? Come on. The most zealous handshakes the world has ever met. That's all it was. Okay. The handshake of the bond of our souls, ardent and intense, tight and steadfast. For a long time, we remained that way. It was an enthusiastic handshake, as though we were two brothers separated at birth, embracing each other tightly as though it would give us back the time we'd spent apart. That was the moment the man who could pass into legend for eating so much during Angel Mort's all-you-can-eat dessert day that he was banned from the restaurants forevermore was born. Of course, this is Kameda's like one of the losers that we beat up in the last chapter, you know, when there were all those freaks there bothering Shion. He would eventually write in his autobiography that our meeting this day was fate. But none of that had anything to do with this. Thank you.
じゃあ、後でな。とりあえず、試合は今話した通りの手はずで頼むぜ。
Thank you. With just that, I turned on my heel and made to leave the bathroom. But then Kamada-kun stopped me.
待ってくれ。せめてあんたの名前を聞かせてくれ。
I can't do that.
俺か？俺の名は前原圭一。いや。
I kind of didn't feel like using my real name. Anyway, maybe I should lie to him and use a code
俺の
name.
ことは
What? It's gonna be something so stupid.
ケイと呼べ。
Okay, K, sure.
K.
Wait, was that actually an embarrassing name? I left the bathroom behind me at a quick pace, hiding my embarrassment. But from what I heard later, I apparently looked quite gallant coming out like that. Thank you.
さとこより圭一さんへ。
Oh, we got the walkie-talkies
次は
again.
どうでございましたの？
圭一よりサトコへ。交渉は成功。エンジェルモートで俺とヤツのデザート食い放題で妥結した。
Perfect.
ミオ、問題ないな。
エンジェルモートにデザート食べ放題で2席ね。了解。手配しとくよ。
どういう風に交渉したのか、実に気がかりなのです。
You'd never be able to understand, Rika. It was man's business.
きっとデザートの美味しい話で盛り上がったに違いないかな。
After that, the game started again. I entered the batter's box as a pinch hitter in place of Mion. But all of the pieces were already in place. Vroom! The straight pitch whipped by me like a bullet, true to its name. The camera people raised their voices in wonder and clicked their shutters. A sharp pitch, as always. He's really going places this summer, isn't he? That golf club pinch hitter is standing straight up too, hee hee. But doesn't Kamada-kun look a little strange? It's like he's got a cold sweat. I patted my shoulders with the bat, then sneered at him in a relaxed voice. Oh, that's what he looks like. Thank you. Thank you.
この程度の球じゃ笑っちゃってバットを振る気にもならないぜ。
おのれ。
Broom. The next pitch, with the same incredible speed as before, it curved sharply and should have thrown off the batter's skill. But Keiichi didn't move at all. He just watched
直
coolly.
球投手に小細工は不要だよ、亀田君。こんなカーブに引っかかってくれるのかい？この辺りのバッターは。
Both the reporters and all the people watching noticed something was strange here. Was Ueshima? Yeah, that's how you say it, right? Ueshima's Kameda, the pitcher who conquered Koishin, losing the mental battle? Koshian? My bad. The next straight pitch had incredible speed again, but it went a little wild. It was a ball. I snorted, not even bothering to get ready
ど
for
う
it.
した亀田君？そんなにど真ん中が怖いのかい？まさか天下の亀田君がフォアボールなんてことはないだろうな。
くそー。
Murmur. The abnormal, unexpected situation spread confusion throughout the reporters.
何者だよ、あの前原圭一って
He's
男が
terrifying.
あの剛速球を前にしてここまでの余裕とは。叶わないと見て空威張りをしてるだろう
We'll
さ。
see. We'll see about
あ
that.
んな不真面目そうな男にあの亀田が打たれるはずはない。いや、私ははったりとは思えないな。
Mm-hmm.
超一流は同じく超一流を見抜くという。あの亀田は紛れもなく超一流。ならばこそあの謎の男の進化を見抜ける。
A real business person looking guy took off his sunglasses and gazed upon Keiichi.
まさか
What?
本当に？
What? The idiot pinch hitter who came in cheering them on with a golf club was actually a genius?
本人はもう野球に魅力を失い、ゴルフへの転向を希望
Oh,
する。
that must be it. That must be it.
天才スラッガー、ゴルフ界へ移籍。
What a tremendous loss for baseball. Stop the presses. We're changing up our sports columns. Gonna start covering golf, like... Vroom.
ボール。これでフルカウントだぞ。
The successive production was, of course, all being dramatized by Satoko. The big shots constantly had their eyes on Kamada-kun. If he were to lose easily, then they knew the match would have been fixed. Perhaps she wanted this little play of ours to create a mood where it wouldn't be strange for Kamada-kun to lose, but...
サトコ、これどう見てもやりすぎだぞ。
Thank you.
頑張れてございましたよ、ケイチさん。明日の休会はいただきですわ。
I don't want any scouts actually coming after me. I'm terrified of what would happen when the jig is up. Wait, I can't be making nervous faces right now.
ボール、フォアボール、奥下が亀田君、見損なったぞ。
Kamada-kun hung his head in feigned
ケイ
dejection.
さん、これでバッチリ筋書き通りですよね。
ああ、でかしたぞ亀田君。
Perfect.
この調子で次のバッターも頼むぞ。こんな試合とっとと終わらせて。
Thank you.
早く食べ放題に行きましょうよ。
Amazing. Grin. Kamada-kun and I exchanged evil smiles. For some reason, there were a lot of camera flashes right then. It seemed like our dear journalist friends took it as two worthy rivals, smiling to acknowledge each other's strength. As I trotted over to the first base, the camera flashes continued, almost to the point where they were annoying. When I got to first base, one of the reporters came over for an interview.
前原君、この亀田君との決着は甲子園でつけるつもりですか？
Ugh, things seemed like they were going to get too big for me. Maybe I should just be honest and confess that I'm not really into
甲子
baseball.
園？俺は日本球界なんて初めから興味ないんだ。
Of course.
悪いな。
Whoa. This man, right from the start, he was always aiming for the world. He might become Japan's first ever big leaguer. What? The conversation was getting fantastically out of hand. Oh, I didn't care anymore. I'll strike a guts pose for the cameras in desperation.
よっしゃ、作戦通りケイちゃんが出塁したね。
Thank God. He didn't die on the way over there.
サトコちゃんの打順だね。どうするんだろう。どうするんだろう。さあ、でっかいホームランでサヨナラ勝ちですわよ。
I guess. Satoko stepped up to the plate, waving the bat around. The reporters couldn't hold back their laughter, maybe because they had just seen his battle with me. My Barakun finally got on base, but now it's all over. I see, so this is why Kamada-kun intentionally walked him. He didn't even fight it, he waited for an easier opponent for the final out. But to avoid a direct confrontation like that, we cannot make light of him. That Keiichi Maibara. I hope Satoko doesn't fail somehow, that'd be so sad if she messes up. Like, she would be destroyed. It would really suck.
亀田さん、いらっしゃいませ。
What is his face? What is his face?
バカにするな。俺を誰だと思っているんだ？ケイさん。いや、前原さんならともかく、お前ごときに遅れなど取るものか。
Whenever this girl stepped up to bat, she had swung wildly and missed, striking out every time. This might sound rude, but however much Kamada-kun holds back, I don't think she'll be able to hit a home run. I could hear the reporters declaring that there was no way a comeback would happen. Wait, what? Satoko, she swung wildly and missed every single time she stepped up to bat? Vroom. She swung after the sound had ended, completely mistiming it. I could hear disappointed voices coming from those rooting for Inamizawa. It's only natural. Every single batter has struck out. Even if worst came to worst, no one would get a hit. And that's why it didn't sound strange when Kamada-kun said this.
お前ごときに本気で投げても仕方がないな。チ
Mm-hmm,
ャ
mm-hmm.
ンスだ。次の一球は下投げでのんびり投げてやる。
I'm ready.
一発くらいヒットを打ってお母ちゃんに自慢できる種にさせてやる。
Okay. Of course, these lines are all part of the plot too. From out of the corner of his eye, Kamada-kun gives me a look. Was that alright?
ああ、いい感じだぞ。
Perfect,
実に
perfect.
さりげない。亀田、お主も演技派よの。
計算ほどではとっても
They're just communicating telepathically, of course. Even that exchange was seen as heated and enthusiastic by the
でも
reporters.
計算いくら手を抜いて投げてもこの子本当に打てるんですかね。
He'll be fine.
いいからお前は決められた通りに投げろ。俺にはなんとなく分かっている。
If you say so. Oh, exchange over. Kamada-kun moved from set position into a pitching stance. Oh, she's so cool. Come then.
手加減の
Oh,
球
never
を投
mind.
げ
She
なさ
said
い
that.
な。大ホームランにして差し上げますわ。
She had struck out every time she was at bat. When I heard that, my vague ideas became firm beliefs. And out of Kamada-kun's hand came a slow, lazy pitch as though they were playing catch. Normal people would probably be able to hit it, but for Satoko, who had been striking out the whole time, Just when people started to think that way, the members of our club had already realized Satoko's trap had begun. She's secretly amazing at baseball. She was trolling this entire time. Missing on purpose. It was true. Striking out constantly today had been laying the groundwork for this moment. An act. All to make it feel like Kamina-kun letting off the gas wasn't strange at all. Which meant, in other words, that Satoko. Crack. Whoa! She got it. Look at it go. The super huge home run Satoko hit disappeared over the roof of the school. The reporters lost their words at the sight, and then, roars of applause. Despite this being what we'd anticipated, I can't help but stare in mute amazement at the gorgeous home run. Satoko strutted over to first base. God, she's so cool. Satoko grinned, showing her fang-like canines in reply. Come to think of it, she played baseball a lot with Tomita-kun and the others during lunch, didn't she? The fact that they always invited her to play meant she was no means bad at it. She was by no means bad at it. Jesus, I cannot read.
全て大振りの凡退だしかも亀田くんが登場する前からだろたくつくづく最後の最後に何か仕掛けるやつだない
つも言ってましたよ罠は一つそれも最後の最後で本当にさりげないくらいで十分なんでしたよ
Damn it, that sounded kind of cool. Basically, she was just bragging about hitting the ball. But when Satoko did it, it looked so cool. We crossed home plate in order, me, then Satoko, and completed our walk-off home run. Our teammates welcomed us back with their blessings. Maibara-san, that was amazing, totally cool. I never thought it would happen. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun praised me. Let's go! We did it! And we don't have a history of turning things around very well in previous circumstances, so maybe this can be a good omen. Who knows? Maybe this is a good sign for how the rest of the game's gonna go. I hope so. I guess we'll see. I briskly clapped my hand against Runa's outstretched palm.
佐藤君もあっぱれ最後は豪快に決めてくれたね
私を誰だとお思いですの
Man, can't underestimate her. Satoko Hojo.
ケイちゃんも見事だったよよくあの亀田を口説き落とせたね
口先の魔術師なのです
リカちゃんそれ
I don't know. That's a compliment.
しかし本当にケイチさんでなく
Yeah, it was really Keiichi who kind of clutched up. You know, I have to assume Satoko is no match for Kameda if he's actually trying, right?
私にはとても真似できませんわ。ぜひ今度私にもご教授いただきたいですわね。
It's impossible. It's a skill he was born with.
あんな荒技をサトコがこなした想像するのも恐ろしい。くれぐれも真似はしないでくれよな。
After declaring the match over, the Empire came to us. Okay, it is this dude as the Empire.
本当に勝てるとは驚きましたよ。
サトコなら打てるって言ったでしょ全然信じてくれないんだからな
The Empire scratched his head apologetically and apologized to Satoko, smiling dryly.
それにケイチ君だってすごかったでしょケイチ君ってここ一番で本当に頼りになる人なんですよ
I guess.
いやゴルフ
Depends on what you mean by reliable.
本当に大丈夫かと思いましたけど、あの亀田君との息詰まる攻防は手に汗を握りましたよ。
I guess there was a battle. There was a mental battle. Right, that breathtaking farce. I quirked a wry smile. Not even the Buddha would have realized that while everyone thought this was a fair match, Kameda-kun and I were thinking about our evil, dessert-violating ways.
さて監督、約束ちゃんと覚えてるよね。
What promise, huh?
これは仕方がありませんね。
やったねやったねケイチ君これで明日はバーベキュー大会だよ
Oh, nice! Retta clapped her hands, and we all began to dance with joy. Tomita-kun and our other teammates were jumping up and down too.
なんだなんだバーベキュー大会おいおい一体どういう話になってるんだ
今日の試合に勝てたら高級お肉いっぱいのバーベキュー大会を振る舞ってくださるって約束になってましたね。
They all know this Eerie guy. We don't. Like, who is he?
亀田さんの登場で一時は危うかったですが、圭一さんの活躍で見事獲得できましたのよ。
Let's go. I see. So that's what this was about. It was certainly not a game we could have lost.
入江は大散財でかわいそうなのです。
Like, he has a bunch of money, I guess. Okay.
参ったな。でも約束ですからね。
私たちは食うときは情け容赦なく食うから
Literally.
ね。何しろ育ち盛りだし。いいかいみんな。明日は徹底的に食いまくるよ。
Perfect. All the members of the Hinamizawa fighters raised their fists in the air and cheered. Rika-chan was petting the head of the Empire, who was smiling painfully at the off-kilter remarks. He gave her his head and looked like he was about to cry. It looked like the price of victory would be pretty big.
参ったな。でも仕方ないね。いや、お肉とかを買いにお買い物に行かないとな。
監督、約束通り
Of course,
牛
of
肉は
course.
高級なのお願いね。野菜ばっかり買って安上がりにしたら許さないからね。
The umpire, whom they were calling Coach, grinned dryly, crestfallen. Umpire? Coach? The uniform he was wearing had Hinamizawa Fighters written on it. So, okay, now, I'm just saying, them calling him Coach, them calling him Umpire,
監督、
we're calling him Kansaku, right?
牛肉は
Which
高級な
is
のお願いね。
the same thing.
野菜ばっかり買って安上がりにしたら許さないからね。
Wait for her to stop talking. Same word that they said when they were saying foreman in chapter 1, right? Same word, same thing, right? Like at the end of Onikashi, when they were calling the foreman or whatever to come, you know, do something with Keiichi, right? So, is that like, you get what I'm saying there? This is some dude that we don't know. They all have some weird connection with him that we don't know about. They're calling him Kansaku, just like they were calling it someone that we didn't know that in Onikashi. So is this the foreman, you know, whatever that means exactly, right? The coach? I guess, he's an adult. That is very interesting, isn't it? That's very interesting. I don't really know, like, what, to make of that. Oh. Like, I guess, I don't know, I guess this could be the foreman, this could be the dude from the end of Onikashi, I guess, I don't know, maybe. Oh, so he's not just the umpire, he was actually our team's coach.
前原くんでよかったですか？お名前。
あ、はい。
前原くんの出塁がなければありえない逆転でした。ぜひ明日のバーベキューにはいらしてください。いやいや、それよりもぜひうちのチームに入りませんか？あなたとなら喧嘩を制覇できるかも。
Oh no, please don't.
監督、まあその話は置いといて、今はお財布の心配だけをなさいませ。
And I'm just really trying to think, like, if this is the guy that they were talking about at the end of Onikashi, what does he have to do with all this crazy shit, right? Like, what? Just a baseball coach? Like, it's just, I don't know, unless it's the author trolling me. But I kind of doubt it, so... What are we talking about then, though, you know? Like... Really trying to think, right? You know, I'm gonna look something up real quick. I hope this isn't cheating. I don't think it is. I just need to confirm something. Okay, yes. I looked up Eerie Clinic, because I thought that was where I had heard this name before, but I hadn't written it down. So I didn't want to say it, but I was right. I just looked up Erie Clinic and the Higurashi wiki came up. I didn't read anything about it. I just had to confirm that I'm not crazy. So the doctor's office that Keiichi went to in Onikashi was Erie Clinic, right? So Erie here, is he a doctor? Is he the doctor of Erie Clinic, right? They're saying that he's rich. They're saying he has a bunch of money. If he's a doctor, that makes sense, right? I actually clicked on that, my bad. So, Erie is the doctor of the Erie Clinic, right? They said in Onikashi that they were going to call a doctor for Keiichi, right? As, you know, and again, my interpretation of it was Keiichi was acting like a complete lunatic. And the syringe has something to do with, like, maybe not fixing that, but has something to do with, they want to inject these people who go crazy, right? I think that's why Rika was bringing the syringe to Mion's house, because she knew that Mion/Shion had gone crazy and was being affected by the same shit that made Keiichi go crazy in Onikashi, right? They said at the end of Onikashi, they're going to call the doctor, the foreman, the Kantoku, right? Who is Erie. Erie's the doctor of Erie Clinic. We're going to call him over to do something. Okay. I guess. Like, I guess. Okay, alright, okay. I don't know what any of that means, but, like, I'm there, I guess. Oops, I accidentally scrolled a bunch. Despite the coach being an adult, everyone seemed to get along very well with him. Coach, huh? Literally. He extended his hand to me. I firmly grasped it with my own and replied. Then, the coach took his other hand and began to stroke mine softly. Oh god. Not a baseball player, huh? He's being exposed. He doesn't have calluses on his hand from swinging the bat. Yeah, the maids? He's that rich? I guess he's a doctor. Sure. Okay, alright. Uh-huh. Right. Uh-huh. Thank you. Right, of course. The coach's eyes were spellbound, and as his delusions floated through his very own original magical universe, he made a supremely satisfied smile. How do I put this? Who the hell is this guy? Thank you. I felt like you couldn't measure him by saying strange or funny. I really didn't think we'd get along. Snap. The other self in my mind made a witty retort for some reason. I literally, what is wrong with you? The coach didn't try to take his hands off mine until Satoko hit him with a threefold wash bucket attack, causing him to faint. Rip. Okay. Great. Fantastic. It's the end? Man, we don't get to see the end of the day? We'll go through the tip. I think that's the only one we're doing today. I don't think we're going to have another 3-hour episode, unfortunately. But that's big. Like, we've potentially matched who they were talking about by the doctor/foreman/coach. Oh, he's here. Okay. Trap course advanced. Oh, are we going to the dinner? Or the lunch? It was a peaceful lunch break. Thud, clatter, splash. Never, it's not peaceful. Oh god. We rushed into the hallway, and to our surprise, Coach was there with a water bucket overturned on his head. Man, you got some stylish clothes on, huh? Coach greets us, cool and calm.
私、毎週学校には来てるんですよ。ここしばらくは何
We've never seen him here before.
すっかり油断してました。
大丈夫ですか、服。
Alright, I keep skipping lines accidentally, my bad.
いえいえ、ちょうど行水がしたいと思ってたところですからね。実に涼しくていいですよ。
さすが監督、ちょっとやそっとのことでは怒らない。
Good.
その辺が大人って感じだよね。
He was right. If I were coach, I would have started running around with a bucket still on my head, looking for her. His adult way of not getting mad at every little child's prank was admirable.
いいですか、前原さん。こういうのは考え方一つで腹立たしくも愉快にもなるんです。要は受け止め方一つなんですよ。
True, very true.
水バケツを丸ごと食らってそれだけクールにいられる秘訣があるならぜひご教授を願いたいです。
Just gotta change your outlook. Come on.
例えば明治から続く
Okay.
古式ゆかしい旧家があるとしま
Sure,
す。
let's say that.
そこには大勢の使用人として
Okay. Talking about his
メイドさん
own
が雇われて
family.
いるとします。もちろん大きな家ですからベテランのおつぼね様と化したメイド長から、新米のピチピチしたメイドさんまでがたくさんいるのです。
Of course.
ほら。
Okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? A space filled with dreamy maids in pink and peach, adorned with frills and headbands, with Coach at their center, began to spread out before me.
新米メイドたちはそのピチピチさと初々しさで、ご主人様の寵愛を一身に。
Of course.
でもそれが、先輩メイドたちには許せないのです。
Right.
ことあるごとに難癖をつけ、いじめていじめていじめ抜いて。ほら、まだこんなに埃が残っていますよ。ああ、すみません。
Okay. What is wrong with this chapter? What has been wrong with this chapter? Someone needs to tell me what happened when this was being written.
バシャーバケツを逆さにぶっかけられるメイドさん。びしょ濡れのメイドさんが泣きそうになりながらそれでもけなげにはあはあメイド
Thank you. Thank you.
なんだか知んないけど楽しそう。メイドもメイドさんいいな。
Please don't.
ああ、もうレナまで感化されてきた。
Literally.
ほら、ケイちゃんもいつまでも監督の世界に浸っていない。
これさえなければ監督も決して悪い人じゃありませんのに。
I guess. Literally.
北条さとこさん発見。
She's dead.
さとこさん、これは何ざますまだ埃が残ってるざますよ。お仕置き。お仕置きざます。
Oh god. Oh no. Coach plucked Satoko up and started giving her a spanking. Okay, like, thank you. Thank you.
天才的な読みでトラップを操るサトコがどうしてこの顛末までは読めないのか実に不思議だぞ。
そうかな。これはサトコちゃんの望んだ結末だと思うな。
You think?
この結末をサトコが望んだ？
I guess, like she's kind of baiting reactions out of people, right?
人にこういういたずらをしたら絶対に相手は怒って追いかけてくるよね。
Sure.
そんなコミュニケーションすごく嫌だぞ。普通に挨拶から入ってこんにちはってことにはならんのか。
So like what's the implication there? She just wants like attention pretty much, right? I mean, it kind of makes sense with her entire family being dead. I can kind of get that, I guess, right?
あれ？ケイチ君聞いたことない？いたずらばかりしてる人ってね、人に構ってもらいたい。I
imagine that, yeah. She kind of lost everyone. Ruta gave a cool smile and, laughing abruptly, explained.
だから、サトコちゃんの罠にかかったら、ちゃんと怒ったり笑ったりして、サトコちゃんを追いかけてほしいの。
Makes you think of an Onikachu when he was in his emo mode, and she pranked him and he just didn't react or do anything at all.
そういう猫の甘え髪みたいなの、可愛いと思わないかな。
It's not very soft though. Ooh.
ここで驚いて飛びのきますわ。だからここに仕掛ければ絶対にかかりますの。
Satoko, regaling us with her trap philosophy, was improving the already brutal trap hell on the mountain. If Rena was right, and her traps were to get people to pay attention to her, then all these traps on this mountain were basically a crystallized form of those feelings. Alone with Ruka-chan, setting up trap after trap after trap in the mountains, always waiting for someone to fall into them. But nobody needed to come to this mountain in the first place. Without a doubt, she and Ruka-chan had spent a lot of time imagining how victims caught in their traps would react. Satoko, separated for so long from her beloved needy, Satoshi. With her stubbornness, she had never once said that she wanted him to come home. But all the traps sleeping on the mountain told me how Satoko really felt, yeah. It's like she can trap Satoshi as he's finally coming home, you know?
ごめん。なんだって？
このように木の幹に釘を一本打ち付けただけでも立派なトラップになるんですのよ。ちょうどあそこで転げて、
Yeah, it would be horrible.
痛いですわよ。
It would, yeah, you would like die.
釘の頭に人間トンカチってわけか。それは痛そうだな。
Uh-huh.
このトラップはきっと悪い悪人を懲らしめる強力なトラップになりますわよ。どんな悪党がかかるか楽しみでございますわね。
Thank you.
そこでなんで俺をチラチラ見るんだよ。俺にこれに引っかかってほしいと思ってんのか？さすがにこれは大怪我するぞ。このトラップはちょっとやめとけ。
そうですの？もう確かに愛がないトラップはダメでございますからね。ではその悪党もちゃんと改心したらかからないように少し釘の位置を。
Thank you. Satoko immersed herself in adjusting the nail's position. Traps of love, huh? Maybe Coach was right. Just by reacting a little differently, everything changes. Come to think of it, maybe you can feel humor and warmth even when Satoko's traps get you. I guess, like, the traps kind of, to me, it just feels like her... Well, I don't know. I guess I don't want to say something that's, like, horribly wrong, but... I guess you could almost imagine it as, like, Well, I don't know. Maybe it's going too far. Maybe I can't say that yet. I was gonna say it's like her... You know, everyone has abandoned her in her mind, right? Like, her brothers left, her parents died, / disappeared, etc., etc. So I just wonder if in her mind, she is, like, very, unsure about, like, her connections with other people, you know what I mean? And, like, her effect on others, you know? And maybe her traps in that sense are kind of like her testing that, you know? That if she thinks in some way that she's, like, cursed, just like Shion said in the last chapter, right? If she herself thinks in some way that she's, like, cursed, then it's almost like these traps, these things that she sets up herself that have these, like, bad-ish effects on people. It's almost like you could view that as, like, the way that she views her own interactions with others, you know what I mean? And she tests, like, what reactions other people have from getting caught in her traps, because that's just how she thinks that, like, relationships with her, like, work out, you know what I mean? Because I imagine she must feel, not... I imagine in some way she must blame herself for everyone in her family disappearing / dying, you know? Probably unsure about, yeah, I mean, the whole being cursed thing, you know, like, yeah.
できましたよ。いかがです、ケイツさん？
お、完璧だな。このトラップに引っかかる悪党が現れるといいな。
現れない方がいいに決まってますわ。
I guess, better than no villain, right? I mean, a no villain would be better. It looked a little painful, but I considered coming here sometime and getting caught in it. Alright. That's a good chapter. I like that one. We're already at 3, right? Or we're gonna be at 4. So, man, we're getting there, kinda. You know, I was gonna stop it there, but we're continuing. We're gonna keep going. Oh, whoops. What did I just drop? Who cares? Off we go. Where are we headed? I assume we're going to the feast, right? Yeah, the barbecue party. Today was the day of the barbecue party that was the Hinamizawa Fighters' victory celebration. Of course, I, having prepared myself, skipped breakfast in order to stay hungry. Hasn't he done this before? I don't remember. There's some time he did something like this, right? Though with all the club members coming, it was pretty possible there would be a contest based on how fast or how much you could eat, of course. I guess it makes sense then. Rena was already at her usual meeting place. Mion arrived a few minutes later. I'm so glad I don't have to think about Shion anymore, that I don't have to think about whether or not this is Mion or Shion. I can just excise that from my mind, right? Like, I don't have to think about that ever again, surely. Man.
じゃあ早速行こうかね。おじさん朝ごはんを抜いてきたからお腹ペコペコ。
さすがだな。もちろん俺も朝食抜きで万全の体制だぜ。
What about Rena?
二人とも朝食抜きは健康に良くないよ。
Yeah, how dare you? Oh, I gotta fix my light. It's almost fallen down. There we go.
レナはちゃんと食べたんだよ。
そうかそうか。レナは偉いぞ。
You're great.
朝食は一日の基本だもんな。きっと成長途上なミオンを飛び越してナイスバデーになってラビアを独り占めだ。
Okay, Keiichi, there's been something up with you lately. Have you noticed? Has anyone else noticed that there's been something up with Keiichi lately?
グラビアを独り占め。ナイスバデーになったらレナのとこにも白馬の王子様が
Maybe, I guess,
来てくれ
if
るかな。
that's what you want. I don't know. That's your
絶
fantasy?
対来ないと思う。ケイちゃんも責任取れないならレナにいい加減なことは吹き込まないように。この子、明日から3食くらいまとめて朝食を取り出すかもしれないよ。
Yeah, I could see Rena doing that. Wait, who did this gluttonous princess think was going to come for?
まあその話は置い
Yeah,
とい
you'll
て。
fight them off.
とにかく俺たちはいい感じで腹ペコだ。さっさと行って大バーベキュー大会としゃれ込もうぜ。
Sounds good. Man, no mention of Watanagashi yet, you know? The venue for said barbecue was said to be the Furude Shrine grounds where Rika-chan lived. They held events and festivals there, and barbecues too. It was the place that held all sorts of ceremonies in Hinamizawa. Maybe Watanagashi's gonna come up right now. Yeah. Come to think of it, there's supposed to be a big village festival coming up, wasn't there? Watanagashi or something. Okay. Like, I guess I can just, I don't know. Don't know what to say. The scenery you could see from that high up was fairly superb, and the calm atmosphere particular to shrines was something fairly difficult to find in the city. Oh, excuse me. We left our bicycles at the bottom of the shrine steps and broke into a mad dash up the stairs. When we arrived on the shrine grounds, the Hinamizawa fighters and their fathers had already gathered and begun setting up for the barbecue. Like, how many people does he have to feed? Of course, Satoko and Rika-chan were there as well. When they noticed our arrival, they waved to us.
あら、忘れずにちゃんと来ましたわね。皆さんが来なければその分お肉が多く食べられましたのに。
True.
実に残念でございましたよ。
甘いぜサトコ。俺たちが来た以上、まさか霜降りが一口でも食べられるなんて思ってるんじゃないだろうな。以前ここで弁当を食った時を思い出せ。
Good times.
俺とサトコの致命的なリーチさで今回も圧倒してやるぜ。
なんですって？そんなの絶対に許せませんわ。
泣こうがわめこうが、サトコは
Of
目の
course,
前
of
で
course.
牛肉を頬張るのを見るだけだ。安心しろ。
Not like you would let that happen.
ピ
Come
ーマン
on.
やナスは譲ってやるからな。
僕もさとこにかぼちゃを焼いたのをいっぱいいっぱい譲ってあげますです。
Thank you, thank you. When Satoko heard the word squash, her complexion changed color. When she took my overwhelming reach into account, she knew it wasn't just a threat, it could actually happen.
監督に伝えとくや。サトコはかぼちゃが大好き
Okay,
だ。
stop,
監督
stop,
のことだから。
stop, stop,
日
stop.
本全国からたくさんのかぼちゃを山盛り集めてきてくれるね。
よかったな、サトコ。どのかぼちゃも
Finally, thank God, she can get all the squash she
朝
wants.
から晩までずーっと3食かぼちゃ三昧だ。
レナ。
Yeah, beat them up, come on,
いじめますな。
take them out. Satoko tried to leap into Rena's chest. Oh no, clearly given another second, Rena's mock punches would have us piled on the ground. So just before Satoko hit Rena, I grabbed her by the nape of her neck and pulled her back. A superb reaction with only seconds of foresight. At least, it was supposed to be. But for Rena, when I caught the leaping, crying Satoko, it looked like I was keeping her to myself. Bam, bam, bam.
ダメだよ、ケイチ君。これはレナのなんだよ。
This is
お
Rena's.
持ち帰り。レナさん。
Beat them up more, come on.
その調子でミオさんとリカもやっつけてですわよ。
ちょっとママ。
さあ、リカはどこですの？
You gotta find her. Gotta hunt her down.
待っててね、さとこちゃん。すぐにやっつけちゃうよ。
Thank you,
そ
thank
し
you.
たらすぐにお持ち帰り。
Well, I don't know about that. We gotta eat the barbecue.
さとこがひどいのです。リカちゃんも可愛い。
Uh-oh. Rika's gonna turn your weapon back on you, Satoko. Look out.
お持ち帰り。リカ、そう思わないでございましてよ。
Satoko laughed in a shrill voice at Rika-chan and Rena's unproductive game of tag while we watched them sprawled out on the ground.
大丈夫ですか、前原さん。
What's up, Eerie?
園崎さんも。
The coach came over and lent us a hand.
まあ私たちのいつものコミュニケーションですからどうぞお気遣いなく。
Literally.
いつも顔面にあざが残るようなコミュニケーションはもう嫌だぞ。
Communication. Communication is kind of like the big thing that we always need in these stories, isn't it? In these last two chapters, you know, like that's just kind of like the fundamental thing that's always missing that ends up with Keiichi dying. So I don't know. You never learn, do you? Laughed the coach loudly. It made us start to laugh too. Satoko's laughter, Rika-chan's yelling, and Rena's strange voice were kind of comfortable to hear. Alright. The adults here knew what they were doing, so the barbecue was ready in short order. As the salad oil dripped down onto the plate with a hiss, there was a loud cheer. When the coach brought over a big plate with all the meat on it, we all cheered again.
これ本当にすごいお肉だよ。監督、本当に大奮発したんだね。
How much did you spend, huh?
約束ですからね。これなんかグラムいくらするか知ってます？
100 pounds of
本
meat.
当に奮発したんですよ。
当然ですわ。三流のお肉じゃ昨日の私の大活躍をねぎらうのは値しませんでしたよ。
You deserve it.
そうだね。今日の主賓はさとこちゃんに違いないね。
確かに最後のホームランを打ったのは紛れもなくサトコ
True, I don't know, it's both of you. Keiichi and Satoko, you both kinda clutched up.
し
I
か
don't
も
know.
油断させたといえ小細工なしの特大アーチ。
さとこは運動神経は良いのです。
悪いどころか世代的には突出してるんじゃな
Yeah,
い？
she should pursue a career in baseball.
私なんかと比べても運動能力は決して劣らないでしょ。
さとこちゃんってひょっとすると将来は
Exactly.
スポーツ界で大活躍できるかもね。
Her being good at baseball is interesting. Because when Rena was talking to Keiichi about him carrying the bat around in Orikakushi, he said that Sadachi did like the same thing, and that Sadachi was also the type of person who didn't play baseball, you know? So I don't know. I guess Sadako liked baseball, Sadachi didn't. Wonder where I don't know. What if he got the bat from Sadako? That would be kind of grim.
なんだか褒めちぎられて照れますわね。むしゃむしゃ。
Although I feel like the implication was that for Satoshi, he started carrying the bat around and it wasn't like a day later that he died, like with Keiichi, you know? I think the implication was that he actually did start playing baseball, I think, right? Because, I mean, the bat had his name on it and everything, right? It was in his locker, so... That kind of... If anything, that kind of makes me think about, like, the whole connection between Keiichi's actions and Satoshi's actions, you know? I don't know. Satoko, for whom the excessive praise made her not notice the moderately grilled meats being stolen one after the other, was just far too cute. What are you carrying? Tomitsu-kun and Okamura-kun were carrying something over to us. It was a huge barbecue plate. Even more... The plate was chock full of skewers with vegetables and meat on them. The grilled, burning hot meat juices made a shh noise as they drizzled off. Gulp. You need a lot of heat for cooking something on a metal skewer, so they had grilled the whole plate at once.
やっぱりこれがなきゃバーベキューとは言わないですよね。
Perfect.
ああ、全くだ。俺も手を貸すから早く持っていこう。
Can I get me hungry? Man.
よいしょ。
見て見て、すごいのが来たよ。
Everyone greeted us with a cheer. Each person received a skewer with vegetables and big pieces of meat on it. Satoko's gonna pick off the vegetables. They also received paper cups filled to the brim with juice. In my right hand were pounds of piping hot barbecue sauce, and left was a cup of juice that I could chug down. If this didn't make you want to dance, you weren't a man. What does that mean? Yeah, why do you have to hold back? Just start eating. Come on. Oh, I see. Sure. The coach, with a cup of beer in his hand, mounted the nearby beer cooler. This was supposed to be a victory celebration, after all. We needed an opening statement. Damn, I hope it ends soon. For every second this goes on for, a little more of the food's freshness goes away. Satoko stomped down on the back of my foot. True. Yeah. Come on. Everyone knows. Everyone can tell.
じゃあ、みんないいですか？昨日は大勝利でしたね。すごいピッチャーの登場で苦戦もしましたが、こちらも同じくらい頼もしい助っ人の登場で見事逆転勝利を収めることができました。
Clap, clap, clap. Both my hands were full, so the adults and older brothers gave us a round of applause.
今日はその戦勝祝賀会です。約束通り、美味しいお肉をいっぱい用意しましたからね。
Man, it's really making me hungry. I wish I was here. Then, after a few words of thanks to the fathers and brothers who helped with the barbecue, he led us in a toast. They say that when toasting, you would normally down the contents of your cup, but we were young. At the toast, all of us immediately began to dig into our skewers. After that, it got really lively, with everyone congratulating one another for the things they did during the game. Like how someone made a great catch, or how awesome someone looked when stealing a base. Of course, they congratulated me too, the savior who appeared to fight against the Koshian pitcher. Naturally.
確かにサトコの作戦ではあったけどさ、亀田を口説き落とすなんて真似はケイちゃん以外にはできなかったわけだし。
I guess he has quite the way with words, doesn't he?
十分ケイちゃんも称えられるに値する活躍をしてるよ。
そういえばケイチ君、あの後亀田君と一緒にケーキを食べに行ったんだよね。
I hope you didn't run into Shion.
なんだかすっごく仲良さそうだった。
ライバル関係から男同士の友情が芽生えちゃったわけ？
そういうのってなんだかその
What do you mean? I violently brushed through Rena's hair as she turned red in the face for some reason at the mention of friendship between males, dispersing her pleasant-seeming ideas. Now then, where's the hero, or rather the heroine, Satoko? God, my throat. Oh, there she is. Satoko was with Ruka-chan in the middle of bragging her heart out about their home run yesterday, and her teammates spared no compliment for her, since even though he was going easy on her, the fact that she hit a throw from a Koshian pitcher was something else. Satoko is more loquacious than usual. It seems she was in a great mood. She was flying so high that I thought for a moment about getting a word in to tease her, but she was the leading actress today, so I decided not to bully her at all. As I watched Satoko, going at things lively as usual under the sun, it struck me that it didn't quite line up with the pleasant time I'd spent with her. But both of those were the real Satoko. Exactly, I didn't care which it was, her smiling happily or making a big lively fuss like this. That's actually big. That is a big thing for him to think, I feel like. Because I literally feel like that is like his defining, like, character issue, I guess. Is his weird shit about, like, who a real person is, or like the real version of somebody, you know? He thinks about himself, he thinks it about other people all the time, right? Like, I mean, obviously the last chapter was like all about that, the Shion Mion stuff. And even the first chapter with like the different versions of Rena and Mion that he was seeing, you know? Combined with like him looking into Rena's past, and like looking into Hinami's always past also goes into that, you know? So I don't know, him recognizing this, him saying this line, that there's, you know, multiple real Satokos, whatever that even means, right? It's just the real Satoko, right? That's big, honestly, for him to think that. Just as long as she would keep smiling like this forever. The coach had approached me from behind before I realized it. As he gazed at Sadako from afar, like I had been doing, he addressed me. So I could tell he was talking about her.
さとこちゃんの笑顔を見てると、なんだか心が洗われる気がします。
Absolutely. Absolutely. He smiled, refreshed, searching for confirmation. I felt a little embarrassed to admit it, so against my better judgment, I played it off.
そうですか
Come on.
あいつの笑顔じゃ皿一枚ろくに洗えないと思うんですけどね。
You think?
それを聞いたら、さとこちゃん怒るんでしょうね。でも、そんな彼女もとってもキュートなんですよ。
Mm-hmm. Leaving her cuteness aside, I could understand him thinking Sadako getting angry for being teased would be funny.
イリアさんでしたっけ
Eerie.
入江です。でも、みんな監督って呼びますからね。
Mm-hmm.
前原さんも監督と呼んでく
I
ださる
guess.
ととても嬉しいです。
Still, that word is kind of freaking me out. I don't know what it means. As he said that, Coach Erie blushed. God, Coach Erie smiled, blushing a little. Like, can I learn how to read, please?
サトコのことを気に入ってるみたいですね。
I didn't have any real basis for saying that. It was just what I felt to be true.
ええ、気に入っていますよ。大好きです。彼女がもっと大きくなったら、求婚しようと思ってます。
What are you talking about? This guy really says some insane stuff, doesn't he? Uh-huh. After being astonished by this, I hurried to put my mind back in order. I'd heard that this coach guy was the kind of person who said crazy things out of nowhere. According to Mion, if I took everything he said seriously, I physically wouldn't be able to take it. If I was able to ignore that part of him, he seemed like he'd be a really funny guy.
あれ？今前原さん驚かれました。
Okay, okay, alright. Listen, we need to chill out. We need to calm down.
じゃあ、ひょっとしてさとこちゃんのこと狙っています？
Okay. We gotta stop.
それは困ります。私はもう何十年も前から
For,
狙ってる
okay,
んです。
like, hello.
監督、何十年も前にはまだサトコは生まれてないと思うんですけど。
Huh? What? Uh-huh. The coach gave a dry grin and laughed. Was this how I should be doing it? I must somehow master the art of responding to this coach guy. After that, I received many words of praise for my actions, almost too many. As that conversation was happening, leaving aside the controversial statements this coach person would spout suddenly, I learned he was very composed and not a bad guy by any stretch.
俺なんかよりあの特大アーチを放ったサトコの方が賞賛に値すると思いますよ。正直、あいつにホームランを打てるなんて思わなかったです。
I know.
さとこちゃんのお兄さんはどちらかというとおとなしい文系のタイプでした。きっとさとこちゃんはその反対の才能に恵まれたんでしょう。
Right, bookworm type, huh? Her brother. Right, he met Satoshi, the one who left Satoko and ran away from home. Satoko's Nini. Satoshi Hojo.
ご存知ないですか？さとこちゃんのお兄さんです。
Know a little bit.
北条さとしくんと言いましてね。彼もひなみ沢ファイターズで活躍してたんですよ。もっともっと活躍してほしかったんですが、
So then
転校してしまいましてね。
he transferred. Uh-huh.
へえ、そうなんですか。
So he transferred. Yeah, maybe that was a little more considerate than saying he ran away. Now that he mentioned it, I think it was Runa. I think she said Satoshi transferred too. I didn't know the details of him having run away from home at the time, so I didn't pay much attention to it, but...
兄貴だけ転校したんでしたっけ？
It's weird, isn't
そういう
it?
のって珍しいですね。
Uh-huh. Everyone having fun was far away, and their cheerful voices distant. Why push the subject, though, when you already know that that's, like, a euphemism, right? The chorus of the cicadas separated us from them, giving me a sense of distance. At first, I thought my own voice was too soft for even me to hear. But for a really long time, Coach didn't respond to my words. So at this point, I began to wonder if I had said something I shouldn't have. Just when I began to feel impatient, Coach finally spoke.
不幸なことがあったんです。いろいろと。
After informing me that what he was about to say was a secret, Coach began to talk, a little at a time. Gonna tell him about her entire family dying?
もう3年になります。
Yeah.
ちょうど今頃の時期
It's
で
when her
した。
parents died.
さとこちゃんのご両親が事故に遭われましてね。
事故？
ええ。旅先の公園で展望台から転落されましてね。
It was supposed to just be a little time away from the house with family. They went for a walk on a path through a nature park after it had rained. There was a little viewing platform that looked like it had a good view. That was the stage on which the tragedy was set. Interesting. The metal fixtures on the viewing platform fence had deteriorated from time, and with all the rain they had just gotten, they might have loosened somewhat. Right before Satoko's eyes, both the fence and her parents fell. Oh god. That's a very interesting telling of the story now, isn't it? Right? Very, I mean... Because it's always been so weird, right? That this one seems so accidental, and so, you know. But again, it's like taken as a whole alongside the other deaths, right? The ones that can't just be, that clearly aren't just accidents, right? It's so weird. I don't know what to make of it, right? And I don't think the answer is just going to be, oh, it was all just a coincidence. You know, that would be kind of a lame answer. If really the answer the author's going to give us is, oh yeah, they actually did just fall, it had nothing to do with anything, it was fine. I mean, maybe, like, I guess that's possible. I just feel like there has to be more to it, you know what I mean? I don't think it's that Satoko's cursed. Like, I don't believe that. There's a river some tens of meters below. The water level was high due to the rain, and apparently very muddy.
それで、両親は?
Coach gave a thin but melancholic smile and touched his paper cup to his lips. Without saying anything, I knew how unfortunate that accident was, and how Satoko's parents had left on an internal vacation. Internal vacation. I was so focused on being careful with my words that I lost what I was going to say. A single word, orphaned. I knew how little consideration it showed and how much it would hurt Satoko without having to say it aloud. Come to think of it, Satoko lived with Ruka-chan. At least that's what I thought I heard from others. Wait, Ruka-chan. Her father died from illness too, and her mother soon after. I felt like I heard she was living by herself.
今はフルデさんと一緒に生活しています。二人ともご両親がいなくて心細い日もあったでしょうが、助け合いながら生活しているようです。
And they got the village as a whole, you know, I mean, especially for Rika, right? The villagers as a whole definitely look after her.
親の庇護なく生きていくっていうのは、あの年頃にはとても辛いことだと思います。
No kidding.
前原さんでもその辺はわかるでしょ?
It's amazing how, like, well-adjusted and how, like, good people they both seem, despite that, you know what I mean? Like, because it happened when they were so young, and it's been so, you know, but they seem to be on the right track in life in general, you know what I mean? Like, they go to school, they, you know, they get stuff done. They don't have, like, horrible behavioral problems, really. Like, Satoko's stuff with traps is, like, you know, different, I feel like. I've only survived because I rely on my parents, so the only reply I could give was to nod. He wouldn't have been able to survive on his own. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Had never thought about that, about how, like, it's like Keiichi got a small taste of not having parents and what that would be like, you know? And we have these two characters that their parents are dead and have been for years.
この村にいる限り生きていくのにそんなに不自由はないでしょ。
そういえばそうですね。リカちゃんって村のマスコットみたいなところがありますからね。確かにこの村での生活には困らないように思います。
What about Satoko? Rika-chan could go meet just once and get 2 or 3 kokeis from a vendor after all. I felt like if she asked for help, everyone in the village would.
でもそれはフルデさんだけの特別な事情です。サトコちゃんも同じというわけではありません。
Rika being so spoiled was just an exception. Upon thinking about it normally, living on your own as a child should be fraught with difficulty. It wasn't then very difficult to imagine how much suffering Satoko had to go through just to live. It wasn't very difficult to imagine. Was I really thinking that? No, I was only thinking the words. I couldn't imagine it in the slightest. I mean, sure, yeah. How was I supposed to imagine it when I saw that annoying smile of hers? There's no way I could. I found out she was living apart from her brother, and I just kind of vaguely thought that it was rather unfortunate. I mean, Satoko was smiling so energetically every single day. Was I thinking that her smiling meant she wasn't hurt? That she didn't feel lonely? When she found out my parents were coming home the other night, Satoko said, "A family sitting around the dinner table is the most fun way to enjoy a meal of all." Those words held a lot more weight now, yeah.
あの子を養子に迎えようと本気で思ったこともあります。
養子?
Not if you want to marry her, though. It's a secret. After warning me, Coach put his index finger to his lips.
私はこの年になるまで本当に堅実に生活してきました。財産もあるし、信用もあります。 ですが、結婚だけはしてない。法律で既婚者でないと。
I guess. I don't know what adoption laws are like.
だから私は、さとこちゃんを養子にしてあげられないんです。残念です。さとこちゃんにパパって呼んでもらえる計画は早くも頓挫ですから。
Thank you, thank you. This guy spouts some crazy stuff. At first, I was only half listening. But midway through, I realized how rude that was. This coach person seriously only wished for this one girl, Satoko, to be happy. That was neither crazy nor was it nonsense. He just wanted her to be happy. Those were his true feelings.
さとこちゃんの今の生活は決して幸福なものではないでしょう。でもね、それをほんの少しでも和らげてあげたいと思ってるんです。もっとも、余り物のお裾分けや力仕事のお手伝いくらいしかしてあげられませんがね。
Better than nothing. She got a close friend group. She, you know, like, she has a lot of people in her life that care about her at least, right?
幸せですよ、さとこ。
Huh? Coach showed surprise at my having declared that.
こんなにもさとこの幸せを強く願う人間が
Literally.
こんなに身近にいて不幸なわけがありません。
I spoke with a serious expression quietly, but firmly, all the same. It was my approval of his feelings, and my gratitude as Satoko's Nini.
ありがとう。でも、さとこちゃんには内緒にしてくださいね。彼女、私が養子にしたいなんて知ったら、こんなスケベ男なんか、誰がパパと呼ぶものですかって、ないそうですから。
I don't know if I disagree, so... I wonder. Satoko may have been somewhat childish, but she was still able to empathize with people. She called him that. I knew it. As if my feelings had gotten across, Coach grinned, satisfied, and returned his gaze to the hustle and bustle before us. Her parents and her older brother. She lost her family, had no relatives, and was huddled up with Rika-chan, who was in the same situation. Satoko Hosho. It wouldn't be odd for her to look at her life with despair, but she didn't seem to feel that way. She lived energetically with a smile.
あの子にはね、いつまでも笑っていてほしい
God, it just really makes me think, like what? Why are these murders happening, man? Like, why is this going on? Why? Like, I don't think it's that she's cursed. I don't believe for a second the Oishi line of her having anything to do with it, right? Like, I just don't believe that for a second. But why is it her? Why have her parents died, her aunt died, her brother transferred, right? And it happened to Rika as well. I mean, but again, I guess at that point it's like we're kind of like we could be looking at it backwards. You know what I mean? Like, sure, it also happened to Rika. Like, she was also a victim of this. And Rena also had like weird connected stuff to like this Oyashiro-sama stuff. But it's very possible that like Rika and Satoko didn't really become close friends until they had like this shared like trauma, essentially. You know. So I don't have to say it's a crazy coincidence that it happened to both of them, because whoever, if it was two children that this happened to, they could have just come together afterwards and became friends, you know what I mean? So, obviously, it is kind of a, I don't know to call it a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there's just something behind it, that Satoko's parents died, and her aunt and her brother disappeared, right? It's something to do with her going on, right? Or at least something surrounding her, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be her specifically, but I don't know. It was a naive wish, and yet it was one that he couldn't help hoping for. So, the words that I spoke with the same.
奇遇ですね。俺も同じことを考えています。
おや、前原くんもですか？では私たちは仲間ですね。
I guess.
約束しましょう。
約束?
It's a very simple one, the coach said, giving me a grin. I have a bad feeling about this.
絶対に彼女を泣かせたりしない。
I just have a bad feeling about that. I hope we aren't gonna make Satoko cry. That is for sure. It was short and to the point.
はい。
And I guess by that, I just can't help but think this as well. It is interesting that, like, I've talked before about how in Onikakushi, it was Keiichi's separation from his friends that was like, you know, parallel to him having crazy shit happen and like his life deteriorate in every other way, you know? So it is interesting that, like, very directly there were several scenes where he was very cold to Satoko specifically. And then, you know, all the crazy shit that happened to Norikachi happened, right? So, I don't know, that is interesting. He certainly made her cry, I think, in that chapter, maybe, you know? When he didn't react to her trap, when he would just leave instead of playing the games, you know? Not I'm saying that, like, means anything. I mean, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Like, I'm not saying Satoko has anything to do with it herself, really. It just is interesting, I guess. Coach nodded happily. We exchanged no more words after that. We just sat there comfortably, gazing at Satoko and everyone else having a good time. She'd certainly lost family, but there were people watching over her. How reassuring must that have been?
仮にですよ。Satokoを養子にできたらどうします？
それは難しい質問ですね。
Coach gave a wry, happy smile, then exaggeratedly tilted his head in contemplation.
まずですね。
Oh no! Oh god, no! Why? Oh, not Shion! Oh no, she's still alive. Oh god. I hope she had been absorbed by Mion in the womb in this universe or something. Rough, man. God. How did this guy always pick the craziest time to say the craziest? Is he stupid? Is Keiichi an idiot? Like, yeah, that was him who said that. Yeah, Is he fucking stupid?
私、まだ何も言ってませんよ。
何言ってんですか？今、はっきりと言ったじゃないですか。
Keiichi, get hearing aids.
そうそう。サトコを自分専属のプリッチーなメイドにするってはっきり言いました。
Like, my hatred of Shion has been abated slightly, right? Like, I get it. Like, I understand, right? It's funny how my hatred of her was abated after I now think she's the one who killed all those people before, right? I think I have a much more understanding of her, like, dynamic with Mion now, and why she treated her the way she did, like, early on in the last chapter. But still, oh god, Shion. Man, you know, rough.
Okay,
okay, alright. In Japanese, certainly.
日本のわびさびをミックスした和洋折衷の言葉なので注意してください。
なるほどな。いや、日本語は本当奥が深いよな。
Does Keiichi know who Shion is already? Was she there? Did he meet her at Angel Moore yesterday?
ケイちゃんはよく理解してます。ではそういうことで。
My hand shot out and grabbed Shion, smiling, waving, and about to leave, by the nape of her neck.
突然現れて、何をとんでもないことを言ってやがるんだ。
とんでもないことって言ったら、ケイちゃんと監督にしてたサトコラブなトークの方がよっぽどとんでもないと思いましたけど。
Listen. Shion loves to be places that she shouldn't be. Like, come on.
養子縁組のあたりから再現してごらんになります。
お前、そんな時から息を潜めてやがったのか。
お姉にすらかなわないケイちゃんが私に歯向かおうなんて100年早いってことです。
Not the Shion music again. This was Shion Sonozaki, the younger of the Sonozaki twins. Though she had a scrap of the reserved quality you'd expect from a little sister. She was a villain no better than her older sister Mion. We met the other day in town, and I dug myself into a hole when I mistook her for Mion. Okay. Unlike Mion, Shion said she was living in Okinobiya, so I thought we'd never see each other again, but to think we actually would. My frankly displeased expression didn't change a bit either. This must be what people mean when they say something is like water off a duck's back.
Shion-san, よく来てくれましたね。
You invited her? Why?
まあ他にすることが思いつかなかったってことです。ちょっとからかいに行こうかなくらいですので。
I wish he wouldn't.
監督、どうしてシオンが戦勝祝賀会に呼ばれなくちゃなんないんです？こいつがどうチームの勝利に貢献したっていうのか。
Exactly.
それはですね、実は私がひなみざわファイターズのマネージャーだったんです。
I guess.
マネージャー？嘘だろ？そんならなんで昨日の試合にいなかったんだよ。
マネージャーはマネージャーでも幽霊マネージャーですから。
A ghost manager, huh? She seemed to think I'd forgive her if she stuck her tongue out and smiled. She wasn't sorry at all.
シオンちゃんが来てくれないと 試合に花がないんです。
Dude, you need to get a grip for real.
練習までとは言いませんから、試合にくらいまた昔みたいに応
No,
援に来てくれませんかね。
she's busy.
まあ考えておきます。
Thank
ケ
you.
イちゃんがひなみ沢ファイターズに
Oh
移籍す
God.
るんなら考え
Please
てもいいかな。私かっこいい男の子がいないと応援する張り合いがないんです。
Did Shion just smoothly say something so absurd? Not again. Not again. Oh god, I can't handle it. Suddenly Mion came running over, lashed onto my shoulders, and pulled me towards her.
あー、みーちゃんの妹さんだ。しーちゃん、こんにちは。
レナさん、まだ1回しか会ってないのに名前を覚えてもらって光
When
栄
did you
です。
two meet before?
あ、こちらこそ。
They hadn't met before in Watanagashi.
レナの名前を覚えててくれてありがとう。そんな挨拶はどうでもいいの。
Exactly, literally.
勧誘なんてダメだからね。
Exactly.
ケイちゃんは我が部のホープなんだから野球なんかに引っこ抜かないで。
But for real, Mion gave a low growl as she grappled my arm. She looked like a little girl, desperately clinging to her toy.
ケイチ君はうちの部活の期待の新人なの。
Yeah, no time for baseball.
だからトレードとかは全然ダメなんだよ。
Rena's smile had a nonchalant bloodthirst. She was blocking Shion's way, ready to unleash an ultimate attack if she got within 2 meters of me. Ah, I felt like this was going to turn into a bloody battle.
それは残念です。じゃあ交渉はまたの機会に。
Uh-huh.
あんたに交渉権なんかないの。
Exactly.
監督、なんでシオンまで呼んだわけ？シオンは丸1年もサボってる幽霊部員じゃない。
The past year, huh? Interesting.
シオンちゃんがいると賑やかになって楽しいかなって思ったんですけどね。
That is interesting for the past year that she's been slacking off from her duties with the baseball team. You know why? There was one line in the last chapter where Keiichi thought something about how he thought it looked like Shion must have been pretty close to Sakashi. It was something like, it was just this one single line where he said that, like, it was when he was setting up the festival, the Watanagashi festival. He was with Shion, Tomitake and Takano were talking to him, and they mentioned Satoshi, or someone mentioned Satoshi, and then he said that, like, from Shion's face, he thought he could tell that she must have been pretty close to Satoshi. And her being the manager of the Hinamizawa Fighters, which Satoshi was a part of, and then within the past year, she started slacking off, right? Because Satoshi's gone, I assume, right? I don't know. Makes sense to me.
実に賑やかになりました。
That was what he planned all along. Mission accomplished.
ほら、ケイちゃんおいでおいで。
Yeah, get far away. We gotta go over there. Get away from Shion
もち
fast.
ろん罰ゲーム付きでね。
しーちゃんもどう？ルールは簡単
No,
だし。
no, 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 no.
どうしよう
No,
かな。
nope,
私が参加すると勝っちゃいますから。お姉の部長としての面目を潰しちゃうと悪いです。
Oh god. Mion, now irritated, turned around with a glare.
なんですお姉。私も一緒に参加して姉妹対決にした方がいいですか？多分やめといた方がお姉のた
Oh
めだと思い
god,
ます
she's
け
baiting
ど。
her into it. Man, rough.
あっがべー。塩なんか混ぜてやらない。
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Perfect. Whoa, Mion just avoided a direct confrontation. It seemed like the twins were completely incompatible with each other.
混ぜてあげないの？
Thank you.
みーちゃんとの対決見
I
たかったかな。
don't want to see that, to be honest.
私、シオン嫌い。あいつと戦うのは苦手なの。
I, An angry Mion dragged me away. Slide, just dragging him, his feet
頑張って
dragging.
くださいね。ここで応援してますから。ケイちゃん、ファイト。
You aren't allowed to say that, Shion. Like, you're really... Come on. Shion waved her hand at us, reveling in the bliss of teasing Mion. Alright. Club activities had begun, which meant I needed to clear my mind. What was today's battle? Today's punishment game? I'll take anything on.
ほらほら、ケイチさん、覚悟なさいますよ。
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
今日は徹底的に行きますわよ。
Oh, no.
上等だぜ。 サトコだろうと誰だろうと手加減無用でぶっ潰してやるぜ。
そこレナは逆乗りで優勝だよ。
I'm ready. Has Rena won a single time at anything?
僕はそれに小判ザメで優勝を狙いますです。リカちゃんが小判ザメみたいに下手。
Listen. Calm down.
よしみんな、今日は大人数だから簡単で分かりやすいゲームにしよう。今日のゲームはね、
Tic-tac-toe. Oh, okay. Wow, that's quite the place to cut, huh? It's gonna be a completely different scene. We're not even gonna be here. It's a flashback. We'll go into Ruishi now. Everyone who lost the game dropped out to clean up after the barbecue. Okay, I guess we just don't get to see the game. Thank you, Shia. Thank you. Shia laughed more uproariously than anyone had ever heard when she saw my loser face. Okay. Was my getting bombed out of the game really that funny?
あの時のケイちゃんの顔。お前らそれでも人間かよ。みたいな。
That is a Keiichi line, to be fair. He loves saying things like that.
ちくしょう。長期の買い占めまでは作戦通りだったのに。
What, was it rock, paper, scissors?
そこでサトコとリカちゃんの裏切りさえなければ。
It was going great while we had maintained a united front, but Satoko had been quicker to betray me than I her. She was just a tiny bit better than me. Ugh.
だから北条を信じちゃいけないって警告したんですよ。
Oh god, that's a scary thing to say. Tomoto-kun and Okamura-kun were unanimously wearing I told you so faces. Incidentally, those two were victims of Satoko's traps pretty early on as well.
富田君たちの分まで頑張るつもりだったのにな。
He always lets his underclassmen down. And once again, for the showdown, it didn't matter. Maybe this meant I still couldn't match up against the other members yet. You'll get there.
部活メンバーの最下位には何か罰ゲームがあるってことになってるんじゃなかったでしたっけ？
Shion remarked, as though forcing me to recall something I tried to forget, even for a moment.
そうだったかな。
そういえば前原さん、委員長と罰ゲームを決めるとき、
Okay, it's just gonna be something insane. It's gonna be something crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just gonna be something deranged. Like, I don't know. Oh no. Oh god. Oh no. Oh no.
それと何か関係あります？
No.
できる限り大きめのサイズでって言われたんですけど。
Tomoto-kun and Okamura-kun were giving me these complex, indescribable looks, mixing empathy, pity, and the desire to see something scary all at once. Yeah. All I could do now was laugh. Strangely enough, the more I laughed, the more I felt like I was actually funny. Ugh, I lost.
あれあれ？前原さん、どうしちゃったんですか？笑ったり泣いたり吠えたり。
いいんです。あれは嫌がってるふりのジェスチャーなんです。
Of course.
罰ゲームを口実に得られる貴重な経験に興奮を隠せないだけなんです。
Yeah, for when he starts working as a waitress at Angel Mort. It's like when you were dressed up in the maid outfit. Like, come on, you enjoyed that, right? I held my head in my hands in agony. My state of mind could be summed up with a 3-letter word. What? It was... sob. Coach gently put his hands on my shoulders. Was he comforting me?
前原さん、苦境を受け入れなければならない時はですね。厳しい指導を受けているメイドであると想像するんです。
What a nice life lesson.
ほら、絶望的なシチュエーションがなんだか楽しそうになってきませんか？
I guess.
いいじゃないですか。
Man, if I had to guess what I thought the infamous director character was gonna be like, I didn't think it would be this. Like, I don't know. Man. Red in the face and indulging in his imagination, still holding my shoulders, Coach said, "Oh, master," and started twirling around like a ballerina. I had to wonder what kind of word associations he had going on in his head. At the very least, it was very much different than what was in mine. The first thing that comes into mind when I think of disciplining certainly isn't maids.
富田君、中村君、君たちの監督は実に面白いな。こんなのでよく監督が務まるな。
Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun exchanged glances and answered with dry smiles. Then they added he was a really nice person most of the time, which is something you'd normally say about a person like that. The coach's questionable revolution slowed to a stop, and then his expression returned to a clear, calm one, almost making what just happened seem like an illusion. He can switch gears way too fast.
では、お片付けを続けましょう。前原さんは力持ちみたいですからね。プレートを水場に持って行って洗っていただけますか？
了解です。
I hope they're not trapped. I hoisted the dirty barbecue plates, each with slimy oil clinging on it, and looked for the wash basins. Ah, these are heavy. Where are the wash basins? Over here? Over there? Figuring I should make it there before my arms gave out, I headed towards it at a trot. A lot of the adults who had been helping out were using the wash basins, so I gave up and looked for a different set. I asked them, and they told me there were more right by the assembly hall too, so I decided to head that way. Okay. Rather than multiple basins, there was just one faucet there. I initially thought it would be too small to wash plates as big as these, but it would probably still be faster than waiting for a faucet to open up back there. I turned the faucet, and water much nicer looking than it gushed forth. I put a plate under the faucet and scrubbed it with my hand to try and rub it clean. It didn't go very well.
Hey. スポンジとクレンザー。
Some alone time with Shion, huh?
そんなの水だけで洗ったって無理です。
It was Shion. She threw a brand new sponge in a container filled with cleaner to me.
お、サンキュー。
そんなの洗い場に置いて大人たちに任せちゃえばいいのに。
What's the fun in
つ
that?
くづくケイちゃんっていい人です。
True. Come on. I got the feeling that wasn't quite a compliment. I answered her with a forced
シオン
smile.
がひなみ沢ファイターズのマネージャーだったなんて驚いたぜ。そういうのはめんどくさがってやらないやつだと思ってた。
ええ、めんどくさいですよ。ですから今は完全に幽霊ですけどね。
監督、帰ってきてほしいって言ってたじゃないか。たまには帰ってきてやれよ。
まあ気が向いたら。
Shion made it sound like the end of the world could happen before she felt like it. Whoops. I couldn't keep washing the dishes while preoccupied with conversation, so I decided to take my task seriously. Shion neither offered to help nor got in my way. She just quietly watched the water flowing from the faucet.
そう
Interesting.
そう、聞きましたよ。
I feel like in a vague way, you can connect that that line, her not helping or getting in the way, all of that, to like her dynamic with like Mion being the chosen daughter and her not being. I don't know. It's hard to explain why I feel like that, but I feel like you can connect it. That's all I'm saying.
昨日の試合、ケイちゃんが大活躍したそうじゃないですか。
Ah, that was Satoko.
褒めるなら、俺よりもホームランを決めたサトコの方だろう。あいつ、運動神経良かったんだな。俺驚いたよ。
サトシ君とは大違いです。
Right. I wonder what Shion thinks about Satoko, because she is the one who said the crazy shit about Satoko being cursed. So...
きっと、運動神経は妹に全部取られちゃったに違いないですね。
Shion smiled as she spoke, her eyes looking at something far away, betraying her reminiscence.
サトシ君?
He knew him pretty
北
well,
条サ
huh?
トコの兄です。北条サトシ君。あ、そっか。ケイちゃんって今年引っ越してきたんでしたっけ？なら、会ったことありませんね。
I was a little surprised that Shion knew about
会った
Satoshi.
ことはないけど、少しは知ってるよ。確か、両親が亡くなった後、転校したんだよな。
Of course, I avoided saying that he ran away from home, and used the slightly more vague words that everyone else did.
転校？誰がそんなこと言ったんですか？
Yeah, Shion isn't gonna like that, right? Interesting, because like Shion, her attitude towards the curse stuff, her attitude towards like the ritual storehouse, she doesn't really entertain that type of thing, does she? I hadn't yet realized that Shion's tone had changed slightly. Oh,
いや、誰って？
right. What a shot, I guess.
誰だっけかな？うん、誰かに聞いたんだよ。転校したって。
その誰かって誰ですか？誰かに聞いたから言ってるんですよね。
I don't like
誰に
this.
聞いたかなんてよく覚えてない。
I don't like this at
転
all.
校だって言うならそれでいいだろう。別に問題があるわけじゃないし。
ありますよ。転校届が出されたわけですか？
Hmm.
学校とかに。それを誰かが見た？それとも聞いた？
Oh yeah, her voice really has changed, huh? Around that time, I not only noticed how awfully caught up on this Shion was, but also how startlingly dangerous her eyes had begun to look. Because I guess yeah, and I'm wondering, like, Sachi just disappeared, right? Like that's what we take from her, right? Is he was Onikachi, right? This whole story about him running away from home, that's probably not really the truth either. I wonder if that's something Satoko tells herself, if that's something that like an adult told Sadako as an explanation for what happened to him. Because it seems like Shion is pretty caught up on him just having disappeared, right? And I kind of agree with that.
シオン、なんだよお前。目がマジだぞ。
With that, Shion seemed to realize the expression she was making. She took a deep breath, pretended to fix her hair, and went back to her composed expression from before. Right. Right.
でもケイちゃん、よく知りもしないでサトシ君のこと、転校とか言わないでください。
Okay.
本当にお願いしますね。
I realized I must have said something I shouldn't have. But I wasn't immediately sure of what I should apologize for. So I just said one safe word for now. Sorry.
なんとなく転校と聞かされて、そうだと信じてたんだよ。じゃあ、実際は違うのか?
It was, of course. Preceded by his parents, he had left his sister and run away. But I wanted to try and avoid using the words run away, so I pretended not to know. Upon seeing my flustered reply, Shion realized she was intimidating me and lowered her voice.
すみません。別にケイちゃんを責めてるわけじゃないんです。
Mm-hmm.
ちょっと言葉がきつすぎましたね。謝ります。
別に気にしてないよ。
That was a fib. I was actually a little scared even. Was there something wrong with saying he ran away? Was there some sort of misunderstanding in saying that he transferred? But before I could ask her, she turned on her heel to leave. Oh, wow, okay.
おい、シオン。
じゃあ、頑張ってください。
Man, that big of a deal,
ケイ
huh?
ちゃんのプレートで最後みたいですよ。
If it's that big of a deal to her... Interesting. Okay. I don't know. If it's that big of a deal to her, you would think that in some way it would have to... Well, maybe, I don't know. I was gonna say, it being a big deal, you would think in some way it would be related to, like, her losing her mind and going crazy in the last chapter, right? Like, the same thing that happened to Keiichi, you know? Because with Keiichi, it was a very personal thing, right? His feeling of not fitting in, all of that, blah, 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 right? But with her, I mean, it was a year later. I don't really... Like, I guess, like, the kind of the sense I'm getting from, like, this whole thing that makes you go completely insane is that it's, like, it's almost like it takes an emotion that someone is feeling, like Keiichi's anxiety over not fitting in, and it amplifies it a millionfold until you know, like in Keiichi's case, he became a crazy paranoid lunatic who thought he was, like, you know, being gang stalked and he had to kill everyone, right? And that just amplified his anxiety about not fitting in and Hinamizawa and all of that, like a millionfold, you know? In Shion's case, I mean, I guess my interpretation of it in Watanagashi in Shion's case was... It was her feeling of, like, all the stuff with, like, her family dynamic with, like, Mion and all of that, you know what I mean? And her not being the chosen daughter and everything. And that's why she made Mion start calling herself Shion, and that's why she replaced Mion and all of that, you know? But I don't know, all this Satoshi stuff seems like such a big deal to her. I mean, like, I guess it could just be a completely different, unrelated thing, right? Like... I don't know. It just seems like such a big defining thing for her that seems much more clearly, like, being shown to us than, like, the... I don't know.
洗い物。
Like, your plate is last. That's the one you need to wash. Like... If no one can look at that line and tell me that doesn't mean something. Looks like your plate is last. That's the last one you need to wash. I wish I was locked in. If I was locked in, I would know what that means. And that really annoys me. Man. Her final remark reminded me of the dishes I had so easily forgotten about. So immersed in conversation were we that it got pretty late. I turned the faucet again to get the water flowing faster. Whoosh. Violently scrubbed the plate. When I turned back around, Shion was no longer there. By the time I'd finished washing the plates, most of the other things had been cleaned up. I guess, like, in a really vague sense, you could relate this to him, like, neglecting to continue washing the plates is almost like how, in the previous 2 games, the same shit has happened, where he starts learning this crazy stuff about Hinamizawa, or about someone's past, or about, you know, blah, 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 blah. This time it's about Satoshi, and he starts neglecting other things in his life, right? Like his relationships with others, or just, you know, it all just starts going downhill, you know? And this is, like, this scene felt like our first kind of taste of that in this chapter, you know what I mean? Like, this is the first time things have become even just a little bit vaguely ominous, right? And he's neglecting to wash his own plate, you know what I mean? The air had cooled off before I'd realized it, and as soon as the heat that had stuck with us all day dispersed, a nice breeze started to blow. Huh. That can't be the end of the chapter, is it? No. We got more.
では皆さん、集合です。
Coach got everyone together to make his closing remarks, and with that, another fun day drew to its close. In the end, Mion ended the game with a magnificent victory. Satoko and Rika-chan, who had labored so hard to betray me, had fallen into a huge trap afterwards, leaving them frustrated about more than a few things. You think? That's an interesting thing to say, I don't know.
そんなこと圭一さんに言われたくありませんわ。レナは誰の口車にも乗らなかったからね。2位になれたんだよ。レナはなかなか嘘に引っかからないのです。
It's surprising, I know. She can tell when someone's lying, I guess. I guess that's not surprising.
勘がいいのですよ。
I'm surprised. She seems like she would fall for the first lie to come her way. Oh no, not Rena.
それを言ったらケイちゃんでしょ。他人を食い物にしてやろうと欲張って真っ先に自分が食い物に。友達を紹介すれば紹介するほど高収入なんてバカな商法に引っかかるんじゃないよ。
You gonna join an MLM?
へいへい、努力しますよ。とほほほ。
Even good friends will lay traps mercilessly and betray everyone in sight once they get into a serious enough game. But despite that, once it's all over, they can feel refreshed and laugh together. It reminded me of how we were all such great friends.
それよりも圭一さんの罰ゲームが楽しみでございますわね。
Of course.
でも本当に実現できますの？店長さんもそんなの嫌だって言うと思いましたよ。どうだろう。
What? He's gonna go be a waitress at Angel Amore? Awesome.
すっごく可愛くなるかも。見てみたいかも。
Not allowed.
僕もとても楽しみなのですよ。転ばせてフキフキをさせますです。
No.
ああ、それはいいね。
なぜここ一番で俺は勝てないんだ。
You never win, Keiichi. Come
今
on.
日は絶対に勝ちたい。この罰ゲームは誰かにやらせてみたいと思うといつも負ける。足りないのか。勝利への信念が足りないのか。
敗者の嘆きは蜜の味ですわね。かわいそうなのです。
Man, we haven't gotten that one in a while from her, it feels like. She just says Nippon now. Like, come on.
ケイチ君もこうやって強くなっていくんだね。去年のみーちゃんを見てるみたい。
Mi-chan last year? What? Did she always lose and moan about it in the past? How very interesting. I didn't know our undefeated president, Mion, was once like that.
余計なことは言わなくていいの。
Well, did she always lose to Satoshi? Mion hastily covered Rena's mouth. Everyone watching burst out laughing. Finally, Rika-chan pulled on Satoko's sleeve.
さて、僕たちはそろそろ行かないといけ
Your
ないの
house
です。
is right nearby, at least, anyway. Just walk over there.
お夕飯のお買い物に行かないといけませんわね。
Keiichi, you should go over for dinner. Come on. I wanted to keep talking like this forever, but it was getting late. We split up with Satoko and Rika-chan and decided to get on our way home.
じゃあまた明日。学校で会おうね。
Everyone waved to each other and split up for the short time between now and tomorrow.
じゃあ行こう。
What is gonna happen for the rest of this chapter? I'm trying to think. Like, there's gotta be more, right? Like, we just had like a little like split screen thingy, so it's not gonna end in like 5 seconds. Oishi hasn't entered the picture yet, so he's not gonna get a call from Oishi. He's not gonna get a call from Shion. That'd be weird. I don't know. Gonna go shopping with Satoko again? We began walking down the tall staircase leading from the shrine grounds. As the sun started to set, the afternoon's heat began to disappear as though it were never there. Just listening to the chorus of the Higurashi was enough to make me forget about how hot it had been today.
We're gonna
talk about Tatarigoroshi. It's always summer, the endless summer. Now that I thought about it, she was right. It was June, the season of long rain, of hydrangeas and snails. I haven't seen a real rainy season since transferring here.
週間予報によると週明けあたりからはもうちょっと梅雨らしい天気になるらしいよ。大雨注意とか言ってたから綿流しにぶつからなきゃいいんだけど。
そうなんだ。やっぱり梅雨は梅雨らしい方がいいよね。レナは梅雨の長雨って結構好きだよ。
I like rain. It's okay.
長雨なんて気がめいるだけだって。
I swear, I have like reverse seasonal depression. I love like rainy, overcast days. And like it being cold out, I love winter. Like. I was a little spaced out, so I was late in answering Mion. I was thinking back to my conversation with her sister. You can ask them about Satoshi. When I said that Satoshi transferred, Shion clearly got angry. She was mad at me for saying something so careless. I mean, it may have been a vague way of skirting around the fact that he ran away from home, but I just don't think it was so bad that Shion would need to feel mad about it. I wasn't really satisfied with it. I felt like a child, completely ignorant of what he was being scolded for. So my thoughts spilled out of my mouth in a very direct fashion.
Satoko ni anikiって言ったよな。Satoshiって名前だっけ?
As soon as I said the name Satoshi, Runa and Mion both lost their relaxed, comfortable mood and made strange expressions. Should I have avoided talking about this? That's what they made me think. But I've already said it, so that's that. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested.
Satoshi ってどうしたんだっけ? 引っ越したんだっけ?
That was such a transparent way of putting it, but in my desire to know everything, I feigned ignorance. Yeah? Mion turned around and looked to Rena for assistance. And if my whole weird theory about the syringe and the doctor guy and all this shit is true, then in my mind, they would know what happened to Satoshi, because he would have been... Because I think Satoshi killed his aunt. I think Satoshi went through the same crazy shit that Keiichi went through in Onikachi. So, whatever they would have done to Keiichi at the end of Onikachi, I think they succeeded in doing to Satoshi, whatever that is. It is interesting that he's not around, though, right? Like, if my theory about that is true, and the syringe is supposed to be something that, like, I don't know. I assume it's something that helps with the crazy thing that makes you go crazy, right? And I would assume, since we know Mion knows what the syringe is, and was part of all of that, then you would think she would in some way know what happened to Satoshi. Because that was only a year ago. I assume this syringe wasn't developed within the past year. I mean, maybe it was. Rina looked between us, then quietly and softly spoke. When I said those words to Shion, she got upset. So I answered her with the same words Shion had given me. There's something on my monitor. There we go. I'd only intended to borrow Shion's words, but I said it exactly the same way she had, right down to the thorns in my voice. When I realized what I had done, I immediately tried to soften my remark. Mion and Runa, their eyes grew wide. They were at a loss for words. I'm thinking about so much stuff right now. I'm thinking about my whole theory about, like, the syringe stuff. I'm thinking back to, again, that one tip in Onikachi when Mion and Runa were talking in the classroom alone, and Mion said something. Runa said that Satoshi transferred, and Mion was like, oh, transferred, that's such, like, a nice way of putting it, you know? Mion saying that obviously shows that therefore Rina must know what actually happened to Satoshi too, right? And again, I'm not saying it has to be something evil. I'm not going down the his friends are psychopaths route. I'm just saying, like, they know what happened. They know he didn't transfer. Transfer is just some kind of excuse they came up with to tell people. I don't know. I really don't know. I started to feel like I was doing something really bad. I thought they were only hiding the fact that Satoko's older brother ran away out of consideration for her. Me neither, literally. Can they tell him, I wonder? I wasn't trying to blame them. The fact that I had to remind them even looked like I was tormenting them with an impossible question. No, maybe I was actually bullying them. No, you aren't. Maybe I had lashed out of them in retaliation for Shion getting mad at me. Yeah, I'm sure that's what's going on, Keiichi. Yeah. This whole day had been so much fun, but now, why did I go and say something that made all of that meaningless? Okay. I couldn't help but regret my own careless curiosity. Jesus Christ! Like, what a spiral! Oh my god! What, hello? What? Jesus, man! Calm down! That's enough. Let's drop it now. I was about to say that. As I was about to say that, Mion spoke up.
別に隠そうとか騙そうとかそういうつもりじゃないのを分かってほしいんだけど。
Mion's tone conveyed her genuine awkwardness. They sounded like the excuses of a child who'd been presented with evidence of her own mischief.
サトシは転校したわけじゃないんだよ。
Huh? Mion said, resigning herself. But I felt bad for pushing her to say that. So, it's okay, Mion. Let's stop talking about Satoshi. Sorry for teasing you. I wanted to apologize. But right before that, he's so... God, Keiichi's just so sweet. Have you noticed? It's like, really... He is so... If he... Like, in this case, he feels like he's the one in the wrong for bringing it up at all. So he just immediately feels like, no, you guys don't have to talk about it. It's fine, you know, blah, 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 blah. In Onikankshi, it was like the opposite. He felt like they were hiding things from him. So he just felt like they had to do like the right thing and tell him, you know? But in this case, he feels like he's the one in the wrong. So he immediately just wants to do what he thinks is right, which is just stop talking about it. Okay, listen, okay. Let's calm down. Okay, here, for a second, let's chill out for a second, okay? This is dangerous, right? This is dangerous, okay? This is reminding me too much of Onikashi, right? I'm sure we're fine. I'm sure we're okay. I'm sure it's all okay. But Rena, why do you have to say it like that? Like, please, let's chill out. Let's not, you know, invoke the creepy music to play and the creepy sound effects. Let's chill out. Let's be nice and calm. Unlike Mion's stammering reply, Rena was extremely clear and resolute. He won't come back. That was a very strange way of putting it. Normally you would say that he hadn't come back yet. At least, I thought you'd only say it like Rena did if he wasn't capable of coming back. You wouldn't say it like that when talking about someone who ran away from him. Well, after he killed his aunt after that day? Hey, let's calm down. Rena's word choice felt very cold to me. It really does. I don't know why she's acting like this, to be frank. I don't want to go into the Keiichi's hallucinating train again. That would be really weird to be doing that twice, you know? But Rena is acting kind of weird. It feels different than, like, her calm and collected attitude that, like, she would have, like, when they went out to look for, like, Rika and Satoko, for example. It's strange. It is strange. It was so cold that I couldn't muster a response right away. At least Mion's fine. Mion noticed the deadlock between us and hurriedly followed up on what Rena had said. But I guess, like, maybe Rena's behavior makes complete sense. Like, maybe, like, if Keiichi is in some way being kind of weird and insensitive here, and is asking things about a friend that Rena, like, really cares about, and she doesn't want to talk about like this, then her having, like, this concise attitude and, like, really not wanting to talk about it makes sense, right? Because Satoshi was their friend, you know? So it's like, I don't know, it's like if Oishi came up and started asking Rena a whole bunch of stuff about Keiichi, you know? Uh-huh. Is that it, though? When running away from home, I thought you're supposed to leave a note or something. So when Satoshi ran away, he would probably have left some kind of letter apologizing to Satoko. That was kind of just what I figured. But, wait, let me read that again. Okay. But from the way Mion was talking, it seemed a little bit different than just running away from home.
警察の人が調べたらさ、
I wonder who that murder was at the start.
サトシってバイトとかでコツコツとお金を貯めててさ、それをいなくなった日に全部下ろしてたのが分かったんだよ。
I guess.
で、名古屋駅だかでサトシによく似た人が目撃されたとかで。
He withdrew all his savings to fund his escape from home. Was that it? It seemed consistent enough to me. But before I could say anything...
私はそんなの嘘だと思う。
Oh.
サトシ君は家出なんかじゃない。
Declared Rena shortly.
ちょっと待てよ。転校したわけでもなく、引っ越したわけでもなく、それで家出したわけでもないなら。
Well...
一体、サトシはどうして？
He was only cockshied.
やめなよレナ。
Mion whispered to her. Rena, however, continued without interruption. And... Then she said this.
だってこれは。
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. We know Rena believes in that kind of thing. Her attitude right now reminds me of, like, her calm and collected attitude, too, when she was, like, trying to figure out, trying to piece together the stuff about, Rika and Satoko disappearing in the last game, right? Like, that was kind of the same as this, right? Like, she wants to know the truth as well, I think. You know what I mean? I guess she's saying right now that it was Oyashiro-sama's curse, so that's kind of crazy. It's interesting that she's... Well, I don't know. It's interesting that right now, she's saying it's Oyashiro-sama's curse, when in the last game, in Watanagashi, she didn't boil it down to being Oyashiro-sama's curse at all that took away Satoko and Rika, right? She had a very logical viewpoint. She came up with a theory for what she thought happened to them, and, like, that was that, you know? So it's kind of weird that she would boil this down to being Oyashiro-sama's curse, right? Tatari. It took some time before I understood what Rena meant by that. Mion clicked her tongue and shook her head a little. I gotta clean my glasses off. Unfortunately. Because in the last game, Rena didn't mention the curse at all. We know that Rena really believes in the curse. Mion said that in Onikakushi. And it was just clear from, like, the way Rena was acting in Onikakushi, right? That she really believes in Oyashiro-sama and the curse. But again, her attitude with Satoshi compared to her attitude when Satoko and Rika disappeared is very interesting, isn't it? Mion clicked her tongue and shook her head a little.
サトシ君は
Okay,
消える前に私に教えてくれた。
Okay, let's be calm. The creepy music isn't playing, we're fine, right?
誰かに見張られている。
Oh, God. Yeah, no, right, just like Keiichi, right?
後をつけられて
Exactly, uh-huh.
家の中にまでついてくる。
Yep.
寝るとき、枕元に立って見下ろしてるって教えてくれ
Okay,
た。
it didn't get that bad for Keiichi. No, it kind of did get that bad for Keiichi. Remember, like, the night after he thought Rena was listening on his phone call outside his room, you know? He like, couldn't sleep that night at all, and he thought he kept, like, seeing Rena in his room and all that shit, you know? Yeah. It's just like what Keiichi experienced in Onikakushi, yeah.
やめなよレナ。
それは間違いなく、お社様のたたりの前兆。きっとサトシ君は、心のどこかで、ひなみ沢を捨てて逃げ出そうという気持ち
And
が
you
あっ
think
たんだ
that's
と思う。
what triggered the curse? Him thinking that? Thinking about running away? Because that's not allowed, right? We know that.
それを、
Yeah.
お社様は許さなかった。
Okay. But again, I don't believe in the curse exactly. I don't think it was the curse. I could imagine in some way... Well... I understand why Rena would think like this, I guess. I understand why anyone would apply... Like, if the lore around Oyashiro-sama and the curse has been created as an explanation for this weird phenomena that already existed, this shit that makes you go crazy, then I understand, like, from Rena's point of view, of course, this would seem like evidence of the curse, right? Because that's the explanation she's always heard for this type of thing, right?
だからやめなって。
お社様は、ひなみ沢の守り神様。ひなみ沢を捨てて逃げ出そうとする人を、絶対に許さない。私はそれを謝った。でも、サトシ君はきっと謝らなかった。
Yeah, she apologized for it when she came back.
だから、
Why is she so sure of it? Why is she sure that it had to be Oyashiro-sama's curse? Maybe the thumbnail. That looks like a good shot, I guess. Sure. I wonder why she would have a predisposition to being so sure that it's the curse, right? Like, your assumption would be something that someone would have a strong predisposition to believing, in spite of, like, a lack of evidence, right? Why? In that case, you would think that for them it must be, like, mentally convenient to accept that, or they would be mentally predisposed to accept that as an explanation for it. Because of, like, other aspects of their life, or, like, because of what it means to them. Something like that, right? Why would Rina want to think that it's the curse? Like, what does that mean to her, you know? I guess, similar to, like, my reason for wanting to think it's the curse, and wanting to think that, like, all of our friends in the club aren't evil murderers. Like, that could be true, right? Like, imagine this. Imagine, really going off the rails here, but imagine that they know that Satoshi is the one who killed his aunt, right? Imagine that they know that, right? Of course, Rena would then want to think that it has to be the curse that made that happen, and that it's not Satoshi that did that, right? Or maybe they don't know that it was him, and they just think that it's possible that it was him, right? If they just say it's the curse that did it, then that can close themselves off from the possibility of even thinking that Satoshi's the one who killed his aunt, right? Which would be a very difficult thing to accept if he was your friend, you know? Yeah. Like, I imagine if Keiichi, let's say Keiichi in Onikaku, let's say Keiichi had just killed Mion and not Rena, and then Keiichi disappeared afterward, Rena would probably be saying the same thing about what happened to Keiichi, that it was the curse that made him disappear and that killed Mion, right? She wouldn't want to think that it's like that, you know? Same with this whole thing about how you can't leave Hinamizawa, you know? It's something you have to apologize for, you aren't allowed to leave, blah, blah, blah. It just, Hinamizawa to me, as a whole, is almost like, a bigger version of, like, their club and their friend group in general, of, like, their social connections that they have, right? So, I mean, of course, anyone is going to think that you shouldn't just abandon your friends and all of that, you know? Like, Satoshi leaving Hinamizawa, abandoning Hinamizawa, was him abandoning all of his connections that he had there, abandoning Satoko, abandoning all of them in the club, too, you know? So in that case, even believing that there's a guardian deity that punishes people for doing that, also, I feel like that also makes sense. That something that someone could, like, latch onto, you know? I hadn't intended to repeat it, but the words came out of my mouth anyway. Oyashiro-sama's curse. So this is why Rena has always had such a weird thing about Satoshi. But again, it's so weird that in the last game in Watanagashi, she didn't mention the curse at all, right? Like, she came up with a completely logical, human-based explanation for what happened to Rika and Satoko, and she thought it was just Mion who did it as well, you know, like, I don't know, that's just weird, isn't it? Mion's gonna shut her down. Wham. Mion struck Rena in the head, and not in a joking way either. Pushing her to her limits. Actually, there was plenty of displeasure and anger in Mion's face at the moment. For a few moments after being hit, Rena looked astonished. Whether or not you believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse, it's what? It's undeniable? Perhaps the voices of the Higurashi calmed her frantic mind, because after a little while, she regained her original calm expression. We arrived at the same places we always split up with Mia. No one said a word until we got there. The voices of the Higurashi just tortured our ears with their buzzing. We always split up with Mion here, leaving just Rena and me. Oh god. Really? Huh. She promised that? However, I quickly realized it was a convenient way of saying she wanted to talk to me alone. Maybe she realized it. Maybe she did. Thankfully, Rena quickly said she'd go home before us. Okay. Bye, Rena. I feel bad for you. Considering the fun day we had, it was a very insipid, lonely parting.
さっきのあまり気にしないでね。
After a little while, Mion finally spoke. Quite some time had passed since splitting up with
いや
Rena.
別に俺の方が悪かったと思う。
Okay, no it wasn't.
サトシの話は別に
It's
隠
just
してたわけじゃないんだ
A
よ。
soft spot.
その
Yeah.
あまり触れない方がいい話だからさ。
At this point, I understood exactly what she meant by that. Judging by her odd interactions with Rena, I understood so well it hurt, that I shouldn't ever talk about it again. Actually, if that's the case, then with Shion too. No, this is a bigger problem. Talking about it in the first place had been indiscreet. I shouldn't have been interested in it at all. Maybe that's why I really had to think about it. About why everyone got so irritated. Idiot, stop this, Keiichi Maibara. By the time I'd tried to warn myself, I had accidentally spoken
もう
already.
二度と聞かないからさ、正直なところを教えてくれないか。一体サトシ
Oh,
に
well,
何があったんだ。
unclear.
家でなんだろう。
Mion doesn't believe in the curse, right? For a long time, Mion remained silent, but finally, unable to endure it any longer, she began to speak timidly.
お社様のたたりの話は聞いたことある？
A little bit.
ほんの少しくらいなら。
I got the gist of it. I only overheard someone in class talking about it, though. Oyashiro-sama was the name of the deity protecting Hinamizawa that they worship at the shrine we had the barbecue at today. And a few years ago, when they started talking about flooding Hinamizawa as part of the dam project, one of the people worked on site died or something, and people blamed it on Oyashiro-sama's curse. Should be one of the people working on site, right? I don't know. That's how it was.
サトシの死んだ親ってのがさ、ダムの誘致派でね。
Mm-hmm.
え、ひなみ沢の人って村中でダムに反対してたんじゃないのか。村人なのにダムの賛成派もいたのか。
The dam project that would flood the entirety of Hinamizawa. I've heard the village all got together to fight the terrible project, but it was a little hard to believe there were villagers who were supporting it.
まあ、いろいろと事情もあってね。ダム計画に反対する人ばかりでもなかったんだけどさ。で、その親っての
Oh,
が
wow.
誘致派のリーダー格だったんだよ。
That is surprising.
誘致派のリーダー格。つまり
I guess
Satoko と
I don't
Satoshi の
remember
親
if we
が
knew it was that
ってこと
if they
だよ
were
ね。
that high up in the dam proponent movement before, but
うん。国はダム工事に伴って多額の保証金を用意してたからね。そのお金が欲しくて、ダム
yeah,
計画に賛成してた人たちも結構いたんだ
a
よ。
good deal maybe. Aside from a few households, Hinamizawa was, in general, not very affluent, and not because they were proud to inherit the land of their ancestors. It wouldn't be strange if some people wanted enough money to start a new life. But even in that case, they would have had to hesitate to say so, given the situation. It just happened to be the Satoko and Sachi's parents who understood that and stood up to be their representative. By that standard, you might say Satoko and Sachi's parents were very heroic. They volunteered to be hated, all to help those without much money who didn't have a voice.
それで、運悪くその両親がさ、
Yeah,
お社様を祀るお祭りの日に事故死しちゃったんだよね。それで、お社様のたたりにあったんじゃないかってことになっちゃったわけ。
I thought back to what Coach told me today. They went to a nature park on a family outing and fell from a cliff.
で、サトシが家出したのまでお社様のたたりってことにされちまったわけか。
まあ、
Well, there's
うん、
more to that.
そんな感じ。
There's more to it than that. It was a bit of an evasive reply, but I felt it was wrong to ask any further, so I didn't press her for details.
もう説明するまでもないと思うけどさ、サトコにとっては、両親の事故も
It's-
サトシの家出も、
Mm-hmm.
そしてお社様のたたりなんて話も、愉快な話じゃないのはわかるでしょ。
Yeah, of course I knew. I could only nod silently.
だからさ、私たちはサトコの家族の話には触れないことにしてる。
Mm-hmm.
サトシのことは仮に聞かれても転校したってごまかすことにしてる。
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
その辺の事情を汲み取ってもらえるよね。
They wanted to protect Sadako's happiness, her smile. As someone who thought that way once, even for a short time, I really did regret having been imprudent enough to broach the topic to begin with.
ああ、わかるよ。俺も軽はずみなことを聞いたと後悔してる。
When she heard that, Mion smiled, seeming a little relieved. With that understanding, thinking that I should get going, I began to make my way home. I could really have stopped by Mion's house, but it was already too late. I'd stop by again the next time I had the chance.
じゃあな、ミオ。
God, I want to meet her grandma.
今日は悪かったな。また明日な。
うん。
じゃあね。
We waved to each other. Then, suddenly remembering something, Mion called out to me.
ケイちゃん、あとさ、サトコにだけじゃなく、レナの前でも、サトシの話は
I don't think he's gonna tell you about Satoshi to anyone ever again.
さっきので分かったと思うけどさ、レナってどういうわけか、お社様のたたりの話だけは
He really wants to believe in it. For sure. I guess I wonder if she grasps onto it as an explanation for her own actions too, right? Attacking her classmates with the bat at her old school before she came back here, right? Which I think, I believe that would have been like the same weird phenomena that made Keiichi go crazy, right? But she really wants to think that was the curse. She really wants to tell herself that was not my fault. That was the curse, right?
転校してきた時から。
Yeah, judging by how Reno was acting earlier, there's clearly no laughing matter to her. Mion had interrupted the conversation for us. But if Mion hadn't been here, what might have happened?
どうしてレナはあんなにマジになるんだろうな。
Not only Reno either, but Shion too.
知らない。レナはね。あ、これ内緒だよ。言ったら絶好だよ。
Mion emphasized this as her expression clouded even
言わない
further.
よ。で、レナが何
Gonna
だった
tell
の
him about some of the backstory
お
about
社
her?
様のたたりにあった
Yeah.
こと
Mm-hmm.
あるんだって。
え？
私は悪いけど被害妄想過剰な
Okay,
何かの
sure,
思い込みじゃ
sure.
ない
Yeah,
か
I
って
guess
思ってるんだけど、ね。
I don't think it's a persecution complex or a wrong assumption. I just think it's something she wants to grasp onto as an explanation for her own actions, you know?
でも本人はそう言ってるし、そう信じてる。茶化すとかなり怒る。レナは普段はチャラけてるけど、怒るとかなり怖い。
分かってるよ。レナの前でも言うなってことだろ。サトシの話。
うん。できればこの話題にも
Yeah.
二度と触れるべきじゃないと思う。
Yeah. I'm thinking we're gonna be forced into a situation where we have to,
レ
though.
ナのためにも、サトコのためにもさ。
For everyone else's, too. And if I must say, for your own sake, too, Kei-chan. With her silence, Mion made sure I knew that.
そうだな。うん。分かったよ。
ありがとう。
Saying only that, she waved her hand and began walking away. I watched her go, a little dazed, and then started walking myself. Satoko's older brother, Satoshi, had he run away from home, or had he been a victim of the curse and disappeared forever? Whichever the case, none of this was anything I should have asked about. The cooling air forced me into self-reflection. It's just, yet again, same thing as always, right? It's he looks too deeply into something, and repercussions follow, right? For him mentally, like in his mind in this case, thinking he shouldn't have done it, you know? But that's just been a consistent theme every time, right? Is he looks too deeply into Hinamizawa's past, or into someone else's past, or into some kind of situation or something. And then everything goes downhill. I guess I just really don't know what the author is saying with that. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it kind of vaguely applies to like the opening scene of the whole thing, pretty much. That whole like someone apologizing thing. Keiichi thinking that like anyone who can do anything, anyone can do anything, and you can always forgive them for it. You know. Because, like, Keiichi, in these cases, when he learns this information about people and about Hinamizawa, he's never very forgiving, is he, right? Like, he always makes a very big deal out of these things, and very much, you know. So, I don't know, it just vaguely makes me think of that. I just haven't decided what I think the author is, like, where he's going with this, like, what we're doing exactly, you know? I wanted Satoko to smile. Yet my curiosity easily defeated me, and I frivolously tried to step into the dark side of things in a joking way. I'm shameful. I wanted today to be exactly like yesterday. I wanted tomorrow to be just as fun as today, too. So why did I go and do something like that? We were having a blast at the baseball game yesterday, and today we had a blast at the big barbecue party, too. It was a lot of fun. But then I went and almost nullified all of those fun times. I would have had to be more careful starting tomorrow. I would pull all this unpleasant stuff behind me forever. Like hell, I'm gonna let my enjoyable life end because of how careless I was today. But the more I thought that I'd be more careful starting tomorrow, the more I couldn't get rid of the ominous thought that I'd already put an end to these enjoyable days with what I'd just done. Yeah. It is like this line of thinking that really makes that true. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because he's thinking of it in this way. he's not gonna be able to act the way he wants, you know? Like, it's a point of no return. Hey, wait. Calm down, Keiichimabara. The gears of destiny are freaking gigantic, aren't they? What happened just now is trivial. It doesn't make any sense to think my life would be totally different starting tomorrow. But even though I understood it logically, the mist in my heart wasn't going to fade until tomorrow turned out to be as fun as today. I wish tomorrow would come already. I wanted it to make me understand how absurd my insignificant doubts really were. The night was long. Okay. That is the end of the chapter. Alright. Alright. I do not have time for the tips. We will read the tips next time. But that was good. I need to make sure I remember to read them. I should remember to read them next time. Should be fine. But yeah, that was good. That was good. It feels like we've crossed the point. We've crossed the point of no return before with Tatarigoroshi. We've crossed it earlier than before. So, worrying. Worrying. But, I don't know. That's it. Subscribe, please, if you enjoy my videos. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And I will see you in the next one.